Li Mei's Sword of Destiny. Chapter 1254. As a devil general under my father, you don't even know this? Yin Yusin, who was at the side, frowned when she heard the conversation between Qin Wentian and the third princess. Qin Wentian glanced at Yin Yusin and asked, "What does this have to do with you? Impudent." Yin Yusin coldly snorted. "Pay attention to your status when you speak. You are merely a devil general under my father. How dare you speak to me like this?" Qin Wentian smiled. He glanced at Yin Yurua and spoke, "Third princess, farewell. Let me go with you." Yin Yurua pulled Qin Wentian along. "No, you better stay behind. As for the Devil King, help me pass a message. This Devil Island is so vast, I also want to go out and take a look." Qin Wentian smiled. He originally already wanted to leave, and this Yin Yusin just happened to give him an excuse to leave. He couldn't have asked for more. "Elder sis, you are going too far. Let me tell you, he isn't just a devil general, he is also my man." Yin Yurua stared at her elder sister as she spoke in a cold tone. "There are countless geniuses on the fallen Devil Island. There are many geniuses from prestigious sects and clans. Any one of them would be countless times stronger than him. Yurua, why must you be so obstinate?" Yin Yusin saw that her good intentions were completely ignored by Yin Yurua. She couldn't help but to feel resentful towards iron for not becoming steel. "And you actually want to use the identity of a servant to climb up the social ladder. How powerful. Since you are already here, I will definitely not allow this to happen." When Yin Yusin stared at Qin Wentian, her iron-blooded aura could be clearly seen. For the people on the Devil Island, even if they were females, their auras were extremely imposing. The others quietly watched. Before this, they had already guessed this. Seems like it was true. Yin Yusin was very unhappy with her younger sister's lover. From her words, this man was only a devil general under her father. No wonder she would be unhappy. "If I knew this would happen, I wouldn't have come." Yin Yurua looked at Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian lightly shook his head and stretched out his hand to touch her face, causing the devilish female to start. She stared at Qin Wentian in bewilderment. This was the first time this fellow had taken the initiative. "Take good care of yourself. She's your sister, so I'm sure she won't harm you. Let's meet again at the Devil Emperor's birthday celebration." Qin Wentian smiled and turned to leave. Looking at Qin Wentian's back, the witch's heart suddenly trembled. Previously, Qin Wentian always seemed to be a doormat in front of her. After all, she was a princess and he was a subordinate. When she pursued him, he could only avoid her. However, at this moment, Qin Wentian seemed to have his unique self-confidence. She, the princess of the Blackstone Devil Island, in front of Qin Wentian, was like a weak little girl that needed to be doted on and comforted. At this instant, Qin Wentian subconsciously revealed his aura. "Stop there." At this moment, Azure Flame Tua, who was beside Yin Yusin, coldly spoke. Qin Wentian continued walking away, like he didn't hear anything. What qualifications does Azure Flame Tua have to order him to stop? What an arrogant fellow. A genius laughed. After that, a surge of devil might descended from the sky, causing the entire space to turn dark. The young man who spoke casually waved his hand and actually slashed out a heaven-shaking devil saber. The incomparably sharp devil saber slashed down from the sky, bringing with it a fearsome coldness that instantly enveloped all paths of retreat for Qin Wentian, wanting to kill him with a single slash. A devil general from outside. I wonder how strong he is. That genius was still smiling as he slashed out that saber, as though he was incomparably relaxed. However, at this moment, Chida, who had been following behind Qin Wentian, suddenly moved. A fearsome battle light radiated from him as he abruptly turned and slashed out with his palms, aiming for the devil saber that was slashing down. A deafening sound rang out. The saber slashed down, but it was caught between Qin Wentian's palms, causing the saber to shatter into pieces. In an instant, the devil might it exuded was completely obliterated. Chida coldly glanced at that genius before he turned and followed after Qin Wentian. "Any random person here is countless times stronger than my lord? Just with such strength, they aren't even qualified to carry my lord's shoes." Chida spoke with his back facing the crowd. The two of them gradually flew away, leaving behind a stunned crowd. This was especially so for the genius who acted earlier. Earlier, that person used his bare hands to block the devil's saber. Although it was just a casual strike, everyone could still feel how tyrannical he was. He definitely wasn't weak. However, this person referred to the devil general as his lord? Yin Yusin's beautiful eyes also froze. Clearly, she was shocked by that strike. Yin Yurua coldly spoke, "Elder sis, I've said it before. You think I'm inexperienced, but in truth, you are merely thinking too highly of yourself, thinking that you know everything under the heavens just because you are on the fallen devil island. In reality, you are the one who is truly inexperienced." Yin Yusin's expression turned heavy. Even if his strength isn't weak, so what of it? He's just a mere devil general. What status does he have? Ridiculous, a mere devil general. If you speak based on your status, in that case, many people here can't even be compared to a mere devil general. In that case, what qualifications do they have to say that they have a bright future? Wouldn't that just mean that they are useless? You said that father didn't support you back then, but have you ever thought that everything you did was because of your own selfish actions? Yin Yurua coldly spoke. After that, she flicked her sleeves and departed. Simply preposterous. Yin Yusin angrily slammed the table in front of her as her aura fluctuated. Azure Flame Tuo's expression was also somewhat unsightly to behold. There's no need to be angry. After all, she is your younger sister. In the future, she will naturally understand you. Not long later, she would be able to see many things. Yin Yusin nodded, gradually calming her anger. Everyone, please continue. Azure Flame Tua smiled at everyone, as though nothing had happened. However, a cold light flickered in the depths of his eyes. On the fallen devil island, the most symbolic structure was undoubtedly the sky-suspending devil palace. The myriad of devil islands were originally floating in the air. But this sky-suspending devil palace floated above the fallen devil island, isolated from the rest of the world. This sky-suspending devil palace was none other than the residence of the devil emperor. Qin Wentian followed the markings on the map and continued on his way. However, he still spent a very long time before he saw the floating devil palace. The majestic sky-suspending devil palace was like a heavenly palace, quietly floating there, receiving the admiration and reverence of countless people. This sky-suspending devil palace was surrounded by a stairway that led to all four sides. There were vast and majestic devil palaces on all four sides, and in each of these palaces lived a supreme character. The four great devil generals under the command of the devil emperor were incomparably powerful. The style of devil architecture is truly tyrannical. Qin Wentian sighed. In the floating devil palace, the four heavenly stairways descended from the sky. In the surroundings of Qin Wentian, countless geniuses gathered. This place could truly be said to be filled with experts as common as the clouds. All of them inclined their heads, coming here with a heart of pilgrimage. At the same time, there were also people fighting for the qualifications to enter the Devil Emperor's birthday banquet. Although this was the birthday banquet of the Devil Emperor, it wasn't so easy to enter the floating Devil Palace. Qin Wentian turned his gaze ahead. Outside the Devil Sect, there was a devil nest situated there, appearing somewhat strange. However, Qin Wentian knew that this devil nest was none other than the extremely famous Thousand Arts Devil Nest on the fallen Devil Island. There were experts guarding it, and usually it was a test for the four devil sects to recruit new members. As long as one could exit the devil nest within the specified time, they would be able to join one of the four great devil kings under the Devil Emperor. And during the birthday banquet of the Devil Emperor, this devil nest became the test to enter the sky-suspending devil palace. Other than the four devil sects, there is a devil nest like this for each of them. I heard from the people on the Devil Island that as long as one can pass the test of any of the devil nests, one can enter. Since we are already here, let's choose this one. Qin Wentian spoke to Cheetah, who was behind him. Young master can make the decision. Cheetah replied. According to the records in the Jade Slip, this devil nest is known as the Thousand Arts Devil Nest. There are many different innate techniques of the devil path within, all of them containing offensive nature. After we enter, we have to comprehend them. The shorter the time, the better. Qin Wentian and Cheetah continued forward. There were more and more people who entered the devil nest. They saw that not long after some people entered, they were directly blasted out, suffering heavy injuries. Naturally, there were also experts who walked out from the other side of the devil nest, passing the test. How fast, it hasn't even been the time it takes for an incense stick to burn right. To think that they already walked out. At this moment a voice of shock rang out. There was a young man with outstanding talent that attracted the praise of many. It's Yi Zimo from the Yi clan. No wonder. Someone spoke. After that, a look of enlightenment appeared on the faces of everyone. Yi Zimo was an expert on the devil rankings. Devil experts loved battle and were extremely strong. On the Fallen Devil Island there was the Devil King rankings and Devil rankings. The Devil King rankings recorded the strongest Devil Kings of the Fallen Devil Island. As for the Devil rankings, it recorded the most outstanding Devil Foundation experts of the Fallen Devil Island. Yi Zimo was precisely one of them. I'm still not as fast as him earlier. He only used the time it takes for half an incense stick to burn. Someone spoke. Are you talking about him? The eyes of the person at the side flashed as he instantly thought of a person. After that he smiled. He has the title of Unparalleled Eyes. In the entire Fallen Devil Island, for those below the Devil King realm, leaving aside combat prowess, just based on their comprehension of the devil path, who can be compared to him? That's true. That person earlier smiled and nodded. At this moment, another two figures entered the devil nest. These two were none other than Qin Wentian and Qida. After Qin Wentian entered the devil nest, he instantly felt an immense pressure gushing towards him from all directions. After that, he saw a pair of devil path palm imprints blasting towards him. These palm imprints contained a terrifying might, and seemed to have a myriad of transformations within them. Tens of thousands of devil palm imprints stacked on top of each other, transforming into a gigantic devil character that enveloped the heavens and earth. Boom! Qin Wentian lifted his palms as a similarly powerful palm imprint blasted out. The two gigantic palm imprints collided against each other in the air, crumbling apart. However, the gigantic palm imprint from earlier seemed to have imprinted itself into his sea of consciousness, manifesting itself in his sea of consciousness. Although this palm imprint was powerful, how could it surpass the might of God's hand as well as the ancient devil word? The fusion of the two could easily form a devil palm imprint. Qin Wentian's eyes opened and closed as devil might gushed forth. When he lifted his palm again, he actually blasted out another devil palm imprint. The ancient devil word floated in the air, converging into a towering might. With a thunderous boom, Qin Wentian's silhouette flickered, directly passing through the devil palm imprint and exiting the devil nest. The guard outside the devil nest started. He glanced at Qin Wentian and was stunned for a moment. After that he spoke. 9 breaths. You have passed the test. 9 breaths. As the sound of his voice faded, the gazes of countless people in the surroundings all turned to Qin Wentian. How is this possible? Someone exclaimed in shock. Qin Wentian started. Too fast? Little brother, are you willing to join the 4 devil kings? That guard smiled. At this moment numerous experts walked over. Many of them were devil kings. They stared at Qin Wentian. I'm from the Cold Mountain Devil sect. Are you willing to join my sect? What does the Cold Mountain Devil sect count for? I'm from the 1,000 Feet Devil Mountain. I would like to invite you to join. Many devil kings extended their invitations to Qin Wentian. 9 breaths of time. What comprehension ability was this? Chapter 1255. Qin Wentian glanced at the surroundings. Seeing so many experts inviting him, he understood that his speed must have been too fast and attracted the attention of so many experts. Everyone, I apologize. I'm a devil general from one of the devil islands of the Fallen Devil region. I came here together with the Devil King to participate in this banquet. Qin Wentian clasped his hands and spoke. After that, everyone silently sighed in pity. It was unknown which devil island this general was from, to actually have such comprehension abilities. So this is the case. Please accept my token of entry. That protector waved his hand as a beam of black light directly imprinted itself into the center of Qin Wentian's brows. Don't erase it for now. This is the proof of your entry. That protector spoke. Qin Wentian nodded lightly. With an intention of his will, the beam of light in the center of his brows vanished. Imprint of darkness. The eyes of the experts in the surroundings gleamed with sharpness. The token in the center of Qin Wentian's brows was the token of darkness, the highest grade of token. If he entered, he would be able to enjoy a very good position. Qin Wentian's silhouette flashed as he stood at the side, waiting for Qida to come out. Not far away from Qin Wentian, Yizimo's gaze landed on Qin Wentian as a look of curiosity appeared on his face. Before this, he thought that his speed was already very fast, but he didn't expect that there would actually be someone who could be so fast to such an extent. His silhouette flashed, moving to the side of Qin Wentian as he spoke. "My name is Yizimo." Qin Wentian glanced at him and smiled. "Qin Wentian? Brother Qin's comprehension abilities are extraordinary. You actually managed to comprehend the devil arts in just a few breaths of time. These 1,000 innate techniques are like child's play in front of Brother Qin." Yizimo smiled. "If I may be so bold as to ask, does Brother Qin have talent in this aspect, or is it purely because of your comprehension abilities?" "It can only be considered a fluke." Qin Wentian smiled. This Yizimo was extremely polite, hence, there was no need for him to reject him. Brother Qin is humble. Yizimo didn't probe further. This was Qin Haodong's private matter, so it wasn't appropriate for him to probe further. There are also devil caverns in the other 3 directions. The more devil caverns you pass, the more valuable the seat you will be given. Brother Qin, have you tried to head to the other 3 devil caverns? Yizimo continued asking. The 4 demon nests were used by the 4 demon kings under the demon emperor for their examinations. Now, they were all used to screen the names of the participants. Right now, the people on the fallen devil island came from all directions. Other than some of the stronger devil sects on the island, the other powers all had different statuses. How would they determine the seats? The demon emperor's birthday celebration couldn't be a mess. Hence, the number of devil caverns that one could pass through, as well as the time of passing, would determine the number of devil caverns that one could pass through. Is that so? Qin Wentian wasn't very clear about the specifics. He couldn't help but to mumble. Brother Qin came from a devil island outside. Maybe you are not familiar with it. Even in the same devil cavern, there are many different medallions. The darkness medallion is the highest ranking medallion, while the lowest is dimmer in color. Even if you enter the banquet, you can only sit at the outermost area and can only stare at the devil emperor from afar. As for Brother Qin with the darkness medallion, you can already sit at the front. If you can pass through the other devil caverns, you might even have a chance to sit near the devil emperor. Yizimo spoke. The ranking of the devil emperor's birthday celebration was extremely strict. Even the seats had to be ranked based on one's strength and talent. I can give it a try. It's just that I still have a friend inside who hasn't exited yet. Qin Wentian spoke. It just so happens that I have nothing to do, and am also preparing to barge into the other devil caverns. Let's wait for Brother Qin to join us. Yizimo smiled. Qin Wentian nodded lightly. From afar, the eyes of the spectators flickered as they stared at their backs. Yizimo was an expert on the devil rankings, and he actually took the initiative to befriend this young man. Geniuses like each other. The 2 of them standing together was truly breathtaking. However, they didn't know if they would be able to pass through the other devil caverns as quickly as they did in this one. Time slowly flowed by. Qida also exited. He didn't spend too much time and finished within the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, causing everyone to be shocked. How could there be so many characters with such powerful comprehension abilities appearing one after another? Qin Wentian wasn't surprised. Qida cultivated the battle saint art, and was able to manifest an ultimate art like God's hand. How could this devil cavern obstruct him? Yizimo's eyes flashed as he asked, "This brother is?" Qin Wentian introduced. "In that case, let's go together." Yizimo smiled, thinking in his heart, were these 2 really the devil generals of the devil islands outside? Both of them were actually so powerful. After which, Yizimo discovered that Qida seemed to be extremely respectful towards Qin Wentian. He kept walking half a step behind Qin Wentian, and his body size never exceeded Qin Wentian's. This was basically the attitude a subordinate would have towards their superior. Could it be that Qin Wentian was a descendant of one of the rulers of the devil islands outside? Qin Wentian also learned some things from Yizimo. After all, the information he obtained from the jade slip given to him by the 3rd princess was only the general information of the fallen devil island. Yizimo knew much more. He himself was a genius disciple of a powerful devil clan, and was also an expert on the devil rankings. After some time, Qin Wentian arrived at the second devil cavern. The devil king of this sect is proficient in devil formations. The formations in this devil cavern are extremely powerful, and the rules here are no different from before. Yizimo spoke to Qin Wentian and Qidemem. Qin Wentian nodded lightly. After which, the three of them stepped out together, moving towards the center of the devil cavern. After entering the devil cavern, Qin Wentian felt like he was isolated from the rest of the world. He was the only person here, and right now, he was in a devil hall. Both sides of the hall were filled with powerful devil experts wielding devil sabers and spears, all of them rushing towards him. Formations. Qin Wentian closed his eyes, sending his immortal sense in different directions. Formations are interlinked. The devil path's formations aren't too different from immortal formations. Qin Wentian silently mused. Powerful law energy gushed forth from him, gushing towards every corner of this space. In an instant, deafening rumbling sounds rang out. Qin Wentian's attacks seemed to be completely unreasonable. He didn't attack those devils, he only focused on attacking the void. After some time, the devil experts in front of him started to crumble apart. Finally, the devil hall vanished as a passageway appeared. Qin Wentian stepped out, directly entering it. A formation expert. The guard outside glanced at Qin Wentian as a look of bewilderment appeared on his face. Congratulations, are you willing to join my devil sect? That guard issued an invitation. I'm here on behalf of my sect. Qin Wentian rejected. That guard nodded and passed a token of darkness to Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian's silhouette flashed as he waited at the side, causing countless experts to exclaim in admiration. Who is this person? His speed is so fast. He must be a genius from a major clan that specializes in formations. That's why he can exit so quickly. I wonder if the fastest record in the 1,000 Formations Devil Nest is as fast as him. After that, a few other major sects sent out invitations, but all of them were rejected by Qin Wentian one after another. Yizimo and Cheetah came out at the same time. After they exited, they saw Qin Wentian quietly waiting there. Did you wait for long? Yizimo asked, but his heart wasn't calm. If the earlier incident in the 1,000 Arts Devil Nest was a coincidence, what about this 1,000 Formations Devil Nest? Not too bad. Qin Wentian smiled. Let's go to the next devil nest then. Yizimo spoke. After that, they continued on their way and arrived at the third devil nest. This was the 1,000 Puppets Devil Nest, and there were many powerful puppets there. Qin Wentian barged in and was the first to exit once again. Yizimo was an Empyrean character and a ranker on the devil rankings. He had also barged in before, but when he saw Qin Wentian, he couldn't help but feel shock in his heart. Qin Wentian stood there quietly as though he had been waiting for quite some time. Brother Qin, what sort of demon-level character are you exactly? Yizimo was speechless, not knowing what to say. He felt an intense sense of defeat. Even when he was facing those terrifying demon-level characters on the devil rankings, he had never felt such a sense of defeat before. Yizimo, is this person your friend? At this moment, a young man walked over and asked Yizimo. Yizimo glanced at this person and nodded. This young man was also a ranker on the devil rankings and was extremely powerful. Your friend seems to have some methods to deal with the puppets. His speed is very fast. That person laughed. Most probably right now. He is preparing to barge into the 4 devil lairs together with you. I wonder how are his performances in the other devil lairs? Not too bad. Yizimo calmly spoke. Brother Qin, let's go. Qin Wentian nodded and headed towards the direction of the last devil nest. That young man glanced at the back view of Qin Wentian, and Yizimo as a cold smile flashed in his eyes. This last devil nest is named the 1,000 Battles Devil Nest. You will have to depend on your own combat prowess. Yizimo spoke to Qin Wentian when they arrived at the entrance of the last devil nest. Qin Wentian nodded. Brother Qin, be careful. Yizimo reminded. After that, Qin Wentian walked towards the depths of the devil nest. Yizimo didn't follow him in but chose to observe from the outside instead. He wanted to see how long Qin Wentian would take. This devil nest has the ability to differentiate one's cultivation base. Many people have no way to pass this devil nest. It's extremely difficult, most probably it won't be easy. Yizimo calmly spoke. But at the next instant, at the exit of the devil nest, a figure walked out. When Yizimo saw this figure, his eyes froze. This? Yizimo's heart pounded. The 4 devil nests, 1,000 laws, 1,000 formations, 1,000 puppets, 1,000 battles. Qin Wentian, did he pass all of them like this? Were there really tests in this devil nest? Many experts in the surroundings exclaimed as they continued forward. Just like before, there were invitations, but Qin Wentian rejected them. He obtained a token of darkness instead. The tokens of the 4 devil nests were all black in color. A smile flashed on Qin Wentian's face. When he returned, he was thinking in his heart, if this is the case, I should be able to get close to the Devil Emperor. Let's hope that I can attract his attention. Brother Yi, you haven't entered yet? Qin Wentian smiled as he stared at Yizimo. I'm going in now. Brother Qin, wait for me. Yizimo returned to his senses. He cast a deep glance at Qin Wentian before walking towards the devil nest. This man was truly a demon-level genius. He had to make friends with him. Maybe he might even gain the favor of the Devil Emperor. As a ranker on the devil rankings, Yizimo knew how difficult it was. But for Qin Wentian, his chances weren't small. Chapter 1256. Qin Wentian attracted the attention of several experts. However, he merely stood there quietly, waiting for Qida and Yizimo to come out. The 2 of them were also extraordinary characters. They would naturally be able to pass the devil nest as well. It was only a matter of time. Qida came out earlier than Yizimo, quietly standing beside Qin Wentian. After Yizimo came out, he cast a deep glance at Qida before turning to Qin Wentian. There's still some time before the Devil Emperor's birthday celebration. During these few days, this place would surely be extremely lively. However, Brother Qin, there's nothing else for you to do. You just need to attend the banquet when the time comes. Next, what plans does Brother Qin have? I want to roam around the Devil Island. Qin Wentian smiled. Coincidentally, I have nothing better to do and can accompany Brother Qin. In addition, I've lived on this island for many years and am extremely familiar with it. If Brother Qin wants to do anything, I can lead the way. Yizimo warmly spoke. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed. This Yizimo was clearly too polite. However, under his eyes of truth, he could sense that Yizimo had no ill intentions. Seems like he only felt that his talent was outstanding and wanted to befriend him. If this is the case, would it be too troublesome for Brother Yi? Qin Wentian asked. Brother Qin, when the birthday celebration of the Devil Emperor starts soon, you will be seated at the top. At that time, you will be the center of attention, and it's unknown how many devil sects and clans would want to invite Brother Qin to join them. At that time, I'm afraid I won't be able to reach up to you. Haha. Yizimo spoke bluntly, gaining a trace of favorable impression from Qin Wentian. This Yizimo was truly a straightforward person. The top seat? Qin Wentian mumbled. After that, he asked, oh yeah, Brother Yi, do you know of the Azure Flame clan? Azure Flame clan. Yizimo's eyes flashed. After that, he nodded. I know they can be considered to have some power. However, when placed in the perspective of the entire Fallen Devil Island, it can't be considered anything significant. Why? Does Brother Qin know of them? I've met them before. They participated in the gathering of the Azure Flame family and some geniuses. They seemed to be very confident that they would be favored by the Demon Emperor. Qin Wentian said in a low voice. Haha, Brother Qin, you're really funny. Who would think that they're weaker than others? If they don't even have self-confidence, then what is the point of fighting? The demonic paths Wuxiu might be lacking, but his momentum can't be any weaker. But in truth, if there's any meaning to these people's gatherings, then perhaps they'll just flatter each other. Yizimo laughed. Honestly speaking, if they joined the banquet together with you, Brother Qin, the moment your imprint appears, the difference between you and them would be countless times greater. If Brother Qin wishes to participate in these boring gatherings, I can introduce some geniuses who stand at the peak to Brother Qin. All of them are definitely characters on the devil rankings. Hearing Brother Ye's words, it does seem rather boring. Qin Wentian laughed. The 2 of them walked away together. For those who participated in the adjudication battle, if they arrived, they would definitely think of ways to participate in the Devil Emperor's birthday celebration. They would also be able to obtain the qualifications to enter. It was just that they didn't know how many people they would meet there. Naturally, rather than participating in such a banquet, why not go to the Celestial Devil Lodge? That place is the most fun place on the Fallen Devil Island. Yizimo laughed. Celestial Devil Lodge? Qin Wentian's eyes flashed, staring at the smile on Yizimo's face. He had no idea what sort of place the Celestial Devil Lodge was exactly. What's there? Qin Wentian curiously asked. A banquet. That place is a place where the peak geniuses of the Fallen Devil Island would appear. In addition, they only receive people with extraordinary statuses, as well as experts on the Devil King rankings and Devil King rankings. Yizimo laughed. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed. The threshold was actually so high. Are you interested in going there for a walk? Yizimo laughed. Sure. Qin Wentian nodded. Yizimo then led the way, heading in the direction of the Celestial Devil Lodge. The architecture of the Celestial Devil Lodge wasn't as majestic as the other devil palaces and halls. It was exquisite and exquisite, exuding an ethereal aura. Even before they entered, there was already a lady who came out to welcome them. Sir Yi. The lady bowed slightly. Evidently she was acquainted with Yizimo. These two are my good friends and are both extraordinary characters. Can we enter together? Yizimo asked. Since they are people recommended by Sir Yi, they are naturally allowed to enter. Sir, please follow me. 3 ladies led the way. The interior of the Celestial Devil Lodge was extremely quiet, with a faint fragrance permeating the air. There was a lake within the Celestial Devil Lodge, and in the center of the lake there was an island. There were pavilions by the side of the lake, and many people were quietly sitting in the pavilions, enjoying their tea. In addition, each pavilion was an independent existence and one had to fly to it. Behind the pavilions, there were also exquisite structures that even immortal senses couldn't permeate. Which sir would like to enter first? A lady spoke to Yizimo. Bring Brother Qin to the best seat first. Yizimo glanced at the lady. The lady nodded her head lightly. Sir Qin, please follow me. After speaking, her silhouette flashed as she flew towards one of the pavilions. Qin Wentian followed behind her, landing in the pavilion in the middle of the lake. Sir Qin, please be seated. That lady spoke. Qin Wentian sat down in the pavilion and after that, the lady bade farewell and departed. Qin Wentian turned his gaze to Yizimo only to see Yizimo smiling mysteriously at him, causing Qin Wentian to feel a strange feeling in his heart. This place seemed to be. His gaze then turned to the other figures sitting in the pavilions. He discovered that other than 2 of them, the others all had extremely dense auras. They were all at the peak of Devil Foundation. Although they were quietly sitting there, Qin Wentian could sense an extremely tyrannical aura from them. Most probably it was just like what Yizimo said. This place would only receive people with extraordinary statuses and rankers on the devil rankings. Who are the friends Brother Yi brought here? Someone asked, clearly acquainted with Yizimo. Brother Qin, Qin Wentian and Brother Qi. The 2 of them have already passed the 4th devil nest and they are both stronger than me. Yizimo smiled, his words causing the eyes of everyone to flash as they inclined their heads and glanced at Qin Wentian. And Yizimo said that the 2 of them were stronger than him. Yizimo could be considered a famous character on the devil rankings. In that case, these 2 were truly extraordinary. Since you Yizimo praised them so highly, they must be extraordinary. Seems like this time around we will have 2 more powerful enemies. Person laughed. After that he toasted Qin Wentian and Qida and didn't say anything, directly draining the contents of his cup in a single gulp. Qin Wentian smiled as he lifted his wine cup and started drinking. Although they were going to be enemies, they still drank together, chatting and laughing. At this moment, mist actually appeared in the center of the lake. A moment later, the gazes of everyone turned over. The entire lake started to be shrouded by immortal mist. Qin Wentian couldn't see any other places except for the island in the center of the lake. There 9 white-robed maidens appeared, huddled together. Only their backs could be seen, but from their figures, one could tell that they were all extremely alluring. Qin Wentian frowned. At this moment he actually felt that all his attention was drawn to the island in the center of the lake. That place seemed to be just inches away from him. Their robes fluttered as the figures of the 9 maidens moved at the same time, dancing gracefully. In an instant, 9 beautiful faces appeared in Qin Wentian's vision, causing Qin Wentian's heart to involuntarily tremble. The 9 maidens were all supreme beauties, each with their own charm. Also, their eyes were filled with charm, staring right at him, incomparably alluring. Ooh! Qin Wentian drew in a deep breath, stabilizing his state of mind. After which, the 9 maidens started to dance. Their sexy and perfect bodies danced gracefully as their snake-like waists twisted and turned. Each and every one of their movements was extremely seductive. Their eyes seemed to be filled with emotions as they stared at Qin Wentian, causing the blood in his body to surge. Not only that, what made Qin Wentian even more shocked was that in his mind, there were only these 9 beautiful figures dancing in front of him. There was no space for anything else. The blood in his body started to boil as a terrifying impulse surged within him. Devil arts. A thought flashed through Qin Wentian's mind. At the level of immortals and devils, how strong would their willpower be? Unless they were willing, it was impossible for them to passively fall into a trap. There was only one possibility. The other party must have cultivated a devil art that was filled with charm. Each and every one of their actions could stir the hearts of others, causing them to feel impulsive. The more Qin Wentian watched, the more shocked he felt. The impulse in his heart grew stronger. Was this the fun place Yi Zimo spoke of? He was tricked by Yi Zimo. Just when Qin Wentian stabilized his state of mind and was admiring the beautiful dance, his entire body suddenly trembled as a surge of blood flowed through his veins. Behind him, there seemed to be an incomparably smooth and soft body pressed against him. At this moment it was undoubtedly fatal. "Sir, have some tea." A voice so gentle that it seeped into one's bones rang out. The delicate figure behind him moved aside and came to his side, pouring tea for him. A pair of perfect and slender hands passed the tea to him. That pair of eyes lifted up, and the instant Qin Wentian saw them, his heart pounded violently once more. This was a pair of extremely beautiful eyes, as pure as jade, yet there was a hint of shyness in them. Especially at this moment, when he saw such a countenance, Qin Wentian almost couldn't control himself. That pair of eyes seemed to contain a magical power, causing him to be unable to shift his gaze away. Femme fatale. Qin Wentian's heart trembled. He stabilized his state of mind and received the teacup with a smile. "Many thanks, Mississippi. XNU is here to serve, sir. There's no need for you to thank me." The voice of the woman was gentle. Her beautiful eyes were incomparably moving. She lightly hugged Qin Wentian's arm as she leaned against Qin Wentian, her head gently resting on his shoulder. Qin Wentian could feel the fragrance and softness of her body. "You also cultivate a devil art, right?" Qin Wentian spoke in a low voice. Although this woman didn't display any devil arts, Qin Wentian could still feel the temptation was too terrifying. "And the Mercury Lady devil art." The woman spoke gently, not hiding anything. "Sir, is this the first time you came to the Celestial Devil Lodge?" The woman inclined her head, her beautiful eyes staring at Qin Wentian, so pure and flawless. Qin Wentian nodded his head lightly. He stared at the dance on the island as he sighed in his heart at how amazing this lodge was. "In that case, sir, you are in for a treat. For those who came here for the first time, they would all be in so much pain that they wish they were dead." The woman smiled gently, stirring the souls of men. "How can that be?" Qin Wentian stared at the beautiful woman, but he didn't continue speaking. The woman naturally understood his meaning. Under such circumstances, wouldn't it be a wonderful thing? "Sir, please don't misunderstand." The woman smiled, not going overboard. Qin Wentian instantly understood. She only wanted to tempt him, but she didn't allow him to touch her? This would truly cause one to feel so much pain that they would wish they were dead. "In that case, why are you doing this?" Qin Wentian curiously asked. "For females who cultivate the Mercury Lady Devil art, as long as they lose their chastity once, their years of cultivation would instantly turn into nothingness, becoming a man. Hence many peak-level geniuses love to come here." Xinyu's smile was as gentle and beautiful as ever, but Qin Wentian's heart trembled. This devil art was actually so tyrannical. Not only that, it would help the other party but also destroy oneself. Wasn't this a little too? So, unless they truly met someone they love, the sisters of the Celestial Devil Lodge. "Sir, you should be able to understand." "I don't understand." Qin Wentian shook his head. Chapter 1257. Staring at Exine Yu, Qin Wentian spoke, I have no way to understand your actions. Your cultivation base is also at the peak of Devil Foundation, and regardless of talent or beauty, you are both outstanding. Why would you sacrifice your cultivation for a man in a single night? It was normal for the myriad Devil Islands to have a cultivation art like the Mercury Lady Devil art. However, this method was clearly abnormal. Only by absorbing the energy of others would it be logical. I'm naturally unwilling. However, sir, don't think that everyone is born with a good life. Life on the myriad Devil Islands is incomparably cruel, especially for beautiful women. If they don't have the ability to protect themselves, it's not easy for them to survive. If there wasn't a reason, why would I come to the Celestial Devil Lodge? Exine Yu leaned lightly on Qin Wentian, as though she was speaking in a gentle voice. Such a feeling caused Qin Wentian's heart to soften even more. The Mercury Lady Devil art was constantly being unleashed. In addition, if you meet someone who truly loves you, so what if you dissipate your Devil Foundation cultivation? Even if the energy from the Mercury Lady Devil art dissipates, you can still cultivate back to the initial level of Devil Foundation. You wouldn't be a cripple. If your luck is good, you might even have a chance to marry into a major power or clan. Exine Yu continued, the Celestial Devil Lodge nurtures you guys. Would they be able to benefit from it? Qin Wentian asked. That's natural. Sir, your relationship with Sir Yi should be very good, right? Exine Yu smiled. Why do you ask this? Qin Wentian asked. Nothing much. Exine Yu smiled. Her gentle hands held onto Qin Wentian's fingers, intertwining their fingers, causing Qin Wentian to gently embrace her. Staring at the delicate figure in his embrace, he then turned his gaze back to the dance of the 9 beauties as waves of emotions rose in his heart. Although the women of the Celestial Devil Lodge had given their first time to the man they loved, how could it be so easy for them to marry into a major power? Devil cultivators might feel their hearts stirring for a short period of time, but it wouldn't be so easy to truly marry a wife. After all, the women of the Celestial Devil Lodge had served many people before. Even if they didn't have the last step, it wouldn't be so easy for them to marry into a major power. Most probably, there would be many cases of them being abandoned. Sir, what are you thinking about? Exine Yu inclined her head and stared at Qin Wentian as she gently asked. I'm wondering if I have the charm to convince you, Qin Wentian said with a smile. A faint smile appeared on Exine Yu's lips. I don't think Sir is such a person. At such a moment, many people wouldn't be able to endure it any longer. Can Exine Yu ask Sir something? Go ahead, Qin Wentian said. If Exine Yu is willing to follow him, would Sir be willing to marry Exine Yu and protect her? Exine Yu inclined her head, her beautiful eyes staring at Qin Wentian. Her expression was extremely soul-stirring, causing people to involuntarily nod in agreement. I won't. Qin Wentian laughed. Sir's true temperament. Many people at this moment don't have such willpower. Even for those with such willpower, they would still lie and deceive others to win the hearts of beauties. Exine Yu's voice was gentle. How do you know that I'm not playing hard to get? Qin Wentian asked. Pretending to be noble and virtuous to win the hearts of beauties? But if that's the case, what meaning would there be to us? Exine Yu smiled. Qin Wentian nodded lightly. Impudent. At this moment, a loud roar rang out from within the mist, shattering this beautiful scene. After that, a cold voice rang out. I've already said it before. Exine Yu is not allowed to accompany others. Get her to come here immediately. This voice was tyrannical and domineering, penetrating through the mist. Exine Yu struggled free from Qin Wentian's embrace and sat at the side. Someone who likes you? Qin Wentian stared at Exine Yu, who was beside him. Whether it's real or fake, who knows? Ba Xiao on the devil rankings has a tyrannical personality. If he wants something, he will definitely get it. Exine Yu smiled. Is he very famous? Qin Wentian asked. Exine Yu stared at Qin Wentian in bewilderment as a radiant smile appeared on her face. Sir Qin, you actually don't even know about the famous characters on the devil rankings? I'm not someone from the fallen Devil Island. Qin Wentian directly spoke. So this is the case. This Ba Xiao is someone from the Royal Devil sect, and his talent is extremely high. Although the devil rankings doesn't have a clear ranking, Wu Xiu of the Fallen Devil region still likes to give them a ranking, saying that Ba Xiao is someone who can enter the top 3. Also, the Royal Devil Sect is also an extremely terrifying power. Do you think he is famous? Xian Yu smiled. If this is the case, wouldn't he be a good match for you if he likes you? Qin Wentian asked. Ba Xiao is extremely tyrannical. He only does things according to what he likes and doesn't care about what others think. He simply wants to make me his. Xian Yu shook her head lightly. I don't like him at all. So this is the case. Qin Wentian nodded his head lightly. At this moment, the atmosphere was already destroyed by Ba Xiao's roar. The immortal fog gradually dissipated and the 9 dancing maidens vanished as well. Everything returned to how it was when Qin Wentian first arrived. It was just that beside each of the geniuses, there was an additional peerless beauty. Every single one of them had outstanding looks and was extremely moving. However, Qin Wentian discovered that Xian Yu, who was beside him, was the most outstanding among all of them. Seems like Xian Yu's words earlier had a deeper meaning. Yi Zimo must have paid some price to the Celestial Devil Lodge before Xian Yu would accompany him. In one of the pavilions, a figure stood there arrogantly with a cold expression. After that, his gaze landed on Xian Yu, who was beside Qin Wentian. Sir Ba, the Celestial Devil Lodge naturally has its own rules. I beg for Sir's forgiveness. Not far away from Ba Xiao, a maiden was apologizing. However, Ba Xiao didn't look at her. He was staring at Xian Yu as he spoke. Xian Yu, come over and accompany me. Xian Yu didn't seem to know what to do. She glanced at Qin Wentian, who was beside her. Ba Xiao, since you came to the Celestial Devil Lodge, don't break our rules. Yi Zimo spoke unhappily. Yi Zimo, you don't have the qualifications to talk to me. Ba Xiao coldly glanced at Yi Zimo. Since I'm already accompanying Sir Qin, I will naturally listen to everything Sir Qin says. Xian Yu spoke in a light voice. Ba Xiao's eyes then turned to Qin Wentian. I naturally won't let you go. Qin Wentian pulled Xian Yu's hand as he smiled. Xian Yu gently smiled. Ba Xiao's expression turned heavy. He stared at Qin Wentian as he icily spoke. You are very impudent. Impudent? Qin Wentian stared at Ba Xiao, wanting to snatch Qin Wentian away after coming here. Yet he still dared to call him impudent? Humph, Ba Xiao coldly snorted. He then turned to Xian Yu, every time I come to the Celestial Devil Lodge, it's because of you. I remember you saying that other than me, you don't need to accompany anyone else. Am I right? Sir Ba, Xian Yu is a member of the Celestial Devil Lodge. I naturally have to listen to their arrangements. Xian Yu spoke in a low voice. Stop using the Celestial Devil Lodge to pressure me. I've treated you quite well. It's fine that you rejected me time and time again, I respect you. But right now I'm truly very angry. Ba Xiao coldly spoke. Ba Xiao, your logic is truly powerful. How many times have you come here for Xian Yu? Is that why she has to give up everything for you? In the Celestial Devil Lodge, you aren't the only one who came here often. Yi Zimo spoke again. Brother Qin is my friend. Today is the first time he came here. But you are truly a disappointment. I've said it before, you don't have the qualifications to talk to me. One day when you can defeat me, you can come and talk to me again. Ba Xiao glanced at Yi Zimo before he continued. Xian Yu, you should know that the Celestial Devil Lodge is a place that cares about benefits. If I pay a sufficient price and forcefully take you in, what would you do? Xian Yu's expression changed. The Celestial Devil Lodge had its own rules, but if Ba Xiao was really willing to pay a price that could move the heart of the Celestial Devil Lodge, she might really be sacrificed. Sir Ba, why must you do this? You should know that the Mercury Lady Devil art can only be activated if we take the initiative. Xian Yu spoke. I want you, it isn't simply because of the Mercury Lady Devil art. Since you put it this way, if you land in my hands, do you think you can still refuse? Ba Xiao's voice grew more domineering. Clearly, he was truly angered. Qin Wentian was speechless. He didn't expect that in a place like the Celestial Devil Lodge, there would actually be jealousy. If Sir Ba really wants to do this, I can still choose to die. Xian Yu's beautiful eyes also turned resolute, no longer looking like a weak young lady. She stared straight at Ba Xiao. Since you put it this way, very well. Ba Xiao no longer looked at Xian Yu. He turned to Qin Wentian instead. Tell her to come over now or you will be in a miserable state. Pour a cup of tea for me. Qin Wentian didn't look at Ba Xiao. He spoke in a light voice to Xian Yu. Xian Yu started. After that, she nodded her head lightly and poured a cup of tea for Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian took a sip and placed the cup down. He hugged Xian Yu lightly as he closed his eyes. I thought that only beasts would bite people they see. To think that there are some people who are like this as well. How disappointing. As the sound of his voice faded, the eyes of the people in the surroundings gleamed with sharpness. Comparing Ba Xiao to beasts? How crazy. Ba Xiao and Xian Yu were both stunned. After that, Ba Xiao's silhouette flashed, directly flying out of the pavilion as he spoke. I will wait for you outside the Celestial Devil Lodge. I hope you can continue hiding inside. Continue, don't let others spoil your mood. Qin Wentian calmly spoke. Immortal mist gradually appeared as the 9 beauties from before started dancing again. In the blink of an eye, this place was like a celestial paradise on earth. Xian Yu's body softly leaned against Qin Wentian as she spoke in a light voice. Since Sir despises Xian Yu, why did you offend Ba Xiao for me? Despises you? What do you mean by that? Qin Wentian was puzzled. I asked Sir if Xian Yu was willing to give me her body. Would Sir be willing to marry me? Sir didn't even want to lie to me. Is this not despising me? Xian Yu spoke in a light voice. The world is so vast, there are countless lives. We are all living in a swamp. Our bodies are stained with blood and mud. Who is clean? What qualifications do I have to despise others? In addition, Xian Yu is so alluring. Qin Wentian smiled. I won't marry you because I already have a woman I love. No matter how tempting the environment is, I might lose myself temporarily. But if I marry you, that would not only be disrespecting you, it would also be disrespecting the woman I love. Xian Yu's beautiful eyes flashed. She fell silent and didn't say anything, only quietly leaning against Qin Wentian. Chapter 1258. Ba Xiao, can he really make the Celestial Devil Lodge hand you over? Qin Wentian felt the gentleness in his embrace as he asked in a light voice. We are very lowly, right? Xian Yu's smile was extremely moving, causing one's heart to shatter. However, if he really forced it, the price he would have to pay wouldn't be small. If I die, he would surely feel heartache. To him, the gains wouldn't make up for the losses. Hence, he might only be threatening me verbally. If you are willing, what price do I have to pay to bring you away? Qin Wentian asked again. Xian Yu got up from Qin Wentian's embrace. Her beautiful eyes stared at Qin Wentian as a bright light flashed in them. She then smiled. Sir Qin, are you joking? Do I look like I'm joking? Qin Wentian asked. If Sir Qin is willing to accept me, maybe Xian Yu would consider following you. But Sir Qin has already made it clear earlier. What do you want Xian Yu to do? Answer my question first. Qin Wentian spoke. Those who came to the Celestial Devil Lodge should all know the rules here. Sir Qin was brought here by Sir Yi, hence, he doesn't know about it. If both parties are willing, they can enter the rear and enjoy the pleasures of immortals in the lodge. After that, the Celestial Devil Lodge would raise a condition to him. This condition might be a treasure on him, or it might be a condition for him to agree to a favor. In addition, it must be something he can do. Xian Yu smiled. If he can do it but isn't willing, then don't dream about such a beautiful thing. No wonder only rankers on the Devil King rankings and Devil rankings can enter. I'm sure the Celestial Devil Lodge has long investigated what they can offer. Qin Wentian laughed. However, the Celestial Devil Lodge knows nothing about me. Sir Yi has already made a guarantee. Xian Yu smiled. Qin Wentian's gaze froze. This Yi Zimo was truly willing to part with his benefits. This meant that if Xian Yu fell in love with him, he would be able to enjoy the pleasures of immortals and Yi Zimo would have to pay the price for him. This Yi Zimo, in order to befriend him, he truly put in a lot of effort. In that case, are you willing to leave with me? Qin Wentian asked Xian Yu. Sir Qin. Xian Yu's beautiful eyes were filled with bewilderment. I won't marry you, but I don't need you to devote yourself to me. I'll redeem your freedom for you. If you feel indebted to me, you can be my maidservant for a few years. How about that? Qin Wentian smiled. Xianyu evidently didn't expect Qin Wentian to say such words. There has never been anyone like Qin Wentian who would make such a ridiculous request. Coming to the Celestial Devil Lodge, other than beauties, wasn't it because of the Mercury Lady Devil art? However, Qin Wentian actually rejected all of them. It had only been a few years, but in reality it was already very short. She did not understand. Sir Qin, can Rong Xinyu consider this? Xianyu stared at Qin Wentian as she spoke. It's the first time we've met, and it wouldn't be easy to gain someone's trust. Especially under such circumstances. Xianyu, you guys possess two treasures that all men would want to obtain. Qin Wentian smiled as he shook his head, placing his teacup down. Sir, Xianyu doesn't have such intentions. Xianyu spoke in a light voice. However, she knew that these words were nothing more than a gentle lie. How would it be able to fool Qin Wentian? Naturally, Qin Wentian didn't care as well. If you want Xianyu to believe that he was someone who came here for the first time, you would be making things difficult for her instead. Don't worry about it. Qin Wentian smiled, quietly admiring the beautiful dance. Although the temptation was extraordinary, his willpower was strong and he wasn't moved at all. Xianyu also fell silent, quietly pouring tea for Qin Wentian. The dance gradually came to an end as the smoke dissipated. Nobody left the pavilion. Although they were immersed in it, there was still no one who could move the hearts of the maidservants of the Celestial Devil Lodge. How could it be so simple to obtain the maidservants of the Celestial Devil Lodge? Unless one was a peerless character that could shake the entire Devil Islands, only then would it be possible to make these intelligent maidservants fall in love with him at first sight. Brother Qin, how do you feel? Is Lady Xianyu serving you well? Yizimo glanced at the pavilion where Qin Wentian was. He only saw Qin Wentian hugging the maidservant in his embrace, as though he really knew how to enjoy himself. Lady Xianyu is doing very well. Qin Wentian smiled. In that case, do you want to continue enjoying my performance? Yizimo smiled. Brother Yi, there are still people waiting outside. Let's leave. Qin Wentian smiled and shook his head. Yizimo frowned when he thought of Ba Xiao. After that, he nodded lightly, sure. After speaking, Yizimo stood up. Qida naturally stood up as well. The others all had expressions of interest on their faces when they saw this scene. All of them smiled at the maidservants beside them. We will visit you guys again another day. Evidently, they were all very interested in what would happen next outside the lodge. Lady Xianyu, farewell. Qin Wentian smiled at Xianyu. After that, his silhouette flickered as he flew towards the shore. Xianyu had a strange look on her face as she stared at Qin Wentian's back view. After that, she spoke, Sir Qin, Xianyu will send you off. Haha. Being able to make Lady Xianyu send you off personally? Brother Qin has already surpassed Ba Xiao by a notch. Brother Qin is truly extraordinary. Yizimo glanced at Xianyu as he laughed. Qin Wentian didn't say anything. Xianyu lightly leaned on Qin Wentian's side as she sent Qin Wentian to the entrance. And as expected, in an empty space far away from the Celestial Devil Lodge, Ba Xiao was waiting there with his back facing the lodge. Sir Qin, Xianyu called out. Qin Wentian turned his head back and smiled. Does Lady Xianyu have any other instructions? Will Sir Qin come again? Xianyu asked in a light voice. During the conversation earlier, she faintly felt that she might have missed out on something. She truly had no way to see through Qin Wentian. Yizimo was so polite to him. What sort of person was he exactly? Maybe not. Just follow your heart. Qin Wentian nodded to Xianyu and walked out. Many people around him cast a deep glance at Xianyu, even if they were all maidens of the Celestial Devil Lodge. Just a single interaction and your heart is already moved? Who is he? The maiden who accompanied Qida earlier asked. I'm not sure. Xianyu shook her head lightly. I can't see through Sir Qi as well. But it seems that he respects Sir Qin a lot. That maiden laughed, staring ahead. Qida had been walking behind Qin Wentian from start to finish. From the looks of it, he seemed to be a subordinate. She also felt a slight sense of discomfort in her heart. The people they served were all geniuses on the devil rankings. A subordinate shouldn't even have the qualifications to be served by them. Seems like it. Xianyu nodded. It's just that I don't understand. Exine, you didn't even have such an attitude towards Ba Xiao before this, right? You actually asked him if he would come again? You should know very well of Ba Xiao's status and influence in the Devil Islands. The maiden beside her spoke in a low voice. Exine Yu's beautiful eyes flashed. There were some things that couldn't be explained clearly. Even she herself didn't know why she was like this. It's just that from the interaction she had with Qin Wentian, she could tell that he was an extremely special person. As to why she asked him if he would come again, could it be because she didn't agree to his request today? She wanted to wait until he came again before considering if she would make a decision or not. Qin Wentian, Yi Zimo and the others already walked to the front of Ba Xiao. At this moment, Ba Xiao slowly turned around, his gaze landing on Qin Wentian as he coldly laughed. I thought you would continue hiding in there forever. Seems like you also understand that running is useless. Running? Qin Wentian laughed and shook his head. Earlier you compared me to a beast. In that case, if you crawl on all fours like a beast and walk under my crotch, maybe I can spare your life. Ba Xiao domineeringly spoke. Ba Xiao, you are too impudent. Yi Zimo coldly spoke. Boom! At the same time a thunderous sound rang out. Qida had already stepped out, causing the ground beneath him to tremble. A heaven-shaking battle might gushed forth from Qida as he instantly appeared before Ba Xiao. Lifting his fist, he punched out, wanting to shatter the space around him. Boom! Devil might gushed forth from Ba Xiao like an unexcelled tyrant. He similarly lifted his fist and punched out with Qida. At the instant their fists collided, a terrifying tempest manifested, causing the heavens and earth to tremble as the earth crumbled unceasingly. Qida roared. Both his palms blasted out with enough force to topple mountains and overturn seas, destroying everything in its path. Ba Xiao frowned. This man's attack was actually so arrogant. The devil might from him transformed into a terrifying tempest that gushed forth. Battle! Qida's bones and blood vessels all erupted forth with a boundless battle saint might. In addition, the light radiating from Qida was actually devil light. Evidently, he had also cultivated the immortal devil transformation art. Since the Blackstone Devil King gave it to Qin Wentian, he naturally could pass it to Qida to cultivate. Although this art was valuable, it had no use to the Blackstone Devil King, and it wasn't an ultimate art. No matter who cultivated it, it wouldn't affect the Blackstone Devil King at all. In an instant, thunderous booms shook the heavens and earth as the earth trembled violently. Although the two of them had yet to unleash the might of the law transformation art, such a clash would still cause the hearts of the spectators to tremble. The female who served Qida earlier froze, her beautiful eyes unblinking as she stared at the battle. Exine Yu's beautiful eyes also stared ahead, only to see Qin Wentian quietly standing there while Ba Xiao and Qida both retreated, floating in the air. Only to see Qin Wentian coldly speaking. Are you even worthy of insulting my lord? Scram! Devil might gushed forth from Ba Xiao as strands of law might radiated from him, enveloping this entire space. In an instant, he exuded an incomparably tyrannical aura. Ba Xiao, I've already said it before. Brother Qin and Brother Qi are both more outstanding than me. If you want to fight, you will naturally have a chance to do so during the birthday celebration of the Devil Emperor. There's no need to show off your might here. You won't be able to gain any benefits. Yi Zimo calmly spoke, causing the hearts of many to tremble. Seems like Yi Zimo wasn't being humble earlier. These two were truly so powerful. Qida was already so terrifying, yet he referred to Qin Wentian as his lord. Who is he? The female servant serving Qida asked Exine Yu. I don't know. Exine Yu shook her head. She felt that Qin Wentian was different from many others, but she didn't know how different he was. She also didn't know what sort of person he was exactly. Chapter 1259. The beautiful maidens of the Celestial Devil Lodge quietly watched. Ba Xiao could be considered a famous character on the fallen Devil Island. Now, the two maidens Yi Zimo brought over were actually able to stand equally against him. Exine Yu, earlier when I looked at the two of you I felt a little strange. It's like he isn't the one chasing after you but you. That feeling is indescribable, like you owe him something. What did the two of you talk about the first time you met? The beautiful maiden accompanying Yi Zimo asked in a light voice. Her observational abilities were extremely strong. She could sense the strangeness between Qin Wentian and Exine Yu earlier. Xianyu's beautiful eyes flashed with waves. The feeling she had today, even she herself couldn't describe it. It was different from the past. He said he wants to redeem my freedom. Xianyu spoke in a light voice. Isn't this what everyone who came here would say? It's just that he wants to obtain us. The maidens of the Celestial Devil Lodge could see through everything. He said that there's no need for me to give up everything. If I feel that I owe him, I can just be his serving girl for a few years. Also, before this I asked him if he was willing to marry me. He clearly said that he already has someone he loves and wouldn't have any connection with me. Xianyu lowered her head, feeling complicated in her heart. The people around were all stunned. You rejected him? Xianyu nodded lightly. That's why I asked him if he would come again, because I feel that I've missed out on this opportunity. He might not come again. Seems like your heart is truly moved. And from the looks of this battle, he truly isn't an ordinary person. But Xianyu, don't worry. You are so beautiful and Ba Xiao has already fallen head over heels for you. How can he not come again? The maiden at the side laughed. You guys don't understand the feeling of being together with him. Xianyu smiled and shook her head. In the past, no matter how lofty and aloof the geniuses were, they would still be unable to control themselves and would need us to take the initiative to avoid them. But for him, if I don't take the initiative to lean on him, I feel that he might not even touch me at all. The maidens all exchanged glances. Under such a charming environment, in addition to the might of the Mercury Lady Devil art, Qin Wentian was actually able to do it to such an extent? Raising his head and gazing into the distance, Ba Xiao's aura was unparalleled as devil might gushed forth from him. Qi also soared up into the air as his body of laws enveloped his body. His battle might towered up into the clouds, terrifying to the extreme. Ba Xiao then glanced at Yi Zimo and Qin Wentian. After that, an even more fearsome devil might gushed forth as he took out a terrifying devil hammer that seemed capable of shattering the earth. Buzz. When Qin Wentian saw this, he took a step forward. His aura burst out instantly and an incomparably sharp sword appeared in his hand. The sword was like a demon, and the shadow of a rock shone brightly. It seemed as if it was going to soar into the sky. He broke through the sky. Only the 7th stage realm? Ba Xiao coldly stared at Qin Wentian. His hammer smashed towards Qin Wentian as numerous tyrannical bolts of devilish lightning manifested in the air, akin to a devil calamity capable of destroying the heavens and earth, containing the power to destroy the world. Qi didn't act. Instead, Qin Wentian slashed out with his sword, breaking apart the void. A crescent-shaped sword light flashed in the sky as numerous terrifying rock swords slashed out, slashing into the devilish tribulation energy of darkness as terrifying rumbling sounds rang out. Violent devil waves churned unceasingly in the air as Qin Wentian's aura gushed forth like a torrential downpour. Rumble! Qin Wentian took a step out, soaring up into the air. Boundless sword might radiated from him, as though there were tens of thousands of ancient sword runes of darkness floating around him, converging onto the body of his sword, radiating a terrifying destructive sword light. Brother Qin, the royal devil sect this man is from is a terrifying power on this island. Even if you want to kill him, it wouldn't be too late to do so during the Devil Emperor's birthday celebration. But if you kill him now, there would be great trouble. Yi Zimo's voice rang out in Qin Wentian's mind. Qin Wentian's heart trembled slightly. Yi Zimo's considerations weren't without reason. Although those major powers wouldn't interfere in battles between juniors, if someone really dared to act against them, how could they be so kind? They would directly send experts to kill their way. On this fallen devil island, Qin Wentian had no foundation. Only to see Yi Zimo soaring up into the air as he took out a tyrannical devil weapon. He stared at Ba Xiao. Ba Xiao, if you really disregard everything and start a battle here, you will definitely end up in a miserable state. Ba Xiao turned ashen. He knew a little about Yi Zimo's strength and had fought against Qida before. Now that he was fighting against Qin Wentian, he understood that it was basically impossible for him to kill Qin Wentian here. In fact, he would definitely be at a disadvantage. I will spare your life for now. I will take your dog life on the day of the Devil Emperor's birthday celebration. Ba Xiao coldly spoke. After that, devil might gushed forth, gushing towards Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian slashed out with his sword, only to see Ba Xiao turning and departing. You are clearly a stray dog. Yet you still want to make it sound more beautiful before scrambling away? Only by doing so would you be able to look better? Qin Wentian spoke in a low voice. The devil might from afar was extremely violent. Qin Wentian kept his sword as his aura dissipated. Yizimo spoke, Brother Qin, let's go. And Qin Wentian nodded lightly. The three of them then sped away, not even turning their heads back. Within the Celestial Devil Lodge, Xianyu and the other maidens stared at the departing figures as shock filled their hearts. Ba Xiao actually retreated. Although he did so in a domineering manner, it was just like what Qin Wentian said. Since he retreated, it meant that he wasn't a match for Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian's cultivation base was actually only at the 7th level, but he could fight head-on against Ba Xiao. His subordinate Qida was very assured of him, and Yizimo also seemed to be doing his best to rope him in, wanting to form a good relationship with him. This man was getting more and more unfathomable. For the next few days, Qin Wentian roamed around the fallen Devil Island. The number of experts gathered here grew more and more. Qin Wentian could already sense that very soon, he would be able to see many familiar faces. The birthday celebration of the Devil Emperor would surely be extremely lively. During this period of time, Yizimo naturally brought up the topic of going to the Celestial Devil Lodge again, and intentionally mentioned Xianyu. However, Qin Wentian didn't head there. The maidens of the Celestial Devil Lodge all cultivated the Mercury Lady Devil art. However, Qin Wentian didn't wish to borrow the strength of women to improve himself. As for Xianyu, given how beautiful she was, in addition to the fact that she cultivated the Mercury Lady Devil art, Qin Wentian's heart naturally swayed as he felt some emotions stirring in him. Qin Wentian wasn't a saint. He was only an ordinary person with a high cultivation base. It was impossible for his heart to be as calm as still water. In addition, after experiencing the temptation of the Mercury Lady Devil art, it was extremely difficult for him to forget that scene. Any man who experienced it once would find it hard to forget. But if one were to speak of deep feelings, it was impossible to speak of. He and Xianyu had merely met once. Now that they were outside, although he would still think of her face, he wouldn't feel any impulsive emotions. In addition, before this, he had asked Xianyu if she was willing to come out with him. Since Xianyu rejected him, he would naturally respect her choice. Because of this, Yizimo joked with Qin Wentian, saying that this fellow had a heart of stone, neglecting a beauty. From Yizimo's perspective, if Qin Wentian went out a few more times, there was a high chance that he would be able to win over Xianyu. The date of the Devil Emperor's birthday celebration got closer and closer. Today, in the Celestial Devil Lodge, Xianyu stood in the pavilion, staring in the direction of the island in the lake. From her position, she could clearly see everything there, but from there she couldn't see what was happening here. During these days he hasn't gone out even once. Could it be that his heart is truly moved? A maiden appeared beside Xianyu as she spoke. Stop joking. Xianyu spoke in a light voice. Are you joking? He's here. The maiden pointed to the pavilion. Xianyu's beautiful eyes flashed as she turned her gaze over only to hear a light laugh from the side. Look, you are still lying. During these days you have been waiting for him to come, right? Xianyu naturally understood who the maiden was referring to. It's just that even she herself didn't know what she was waiting for. Her heart was extremely complicated right now. Was she waiting for him to come and tell her that he was willing to redeem her and leave? However, her senses weren't wrong. As expected, he didn't come and wouldn't come to the Celestial Devil Lodge again. He won't come again. Xianyu spoke in a light voice. The woman gently nodded and said, Looks like it really is as you said. He is a little different from the others. Otherwise, when faced with your temptation, he would personally send you an invitation. Who would be able to bear not coming to see you? Or perhaps he is just a heartless person. Xianyu shook her head lightly. If he was a heartless man, he wouldn't have mentioned the woman he loved back then and would think of ways to toy with her instead. I'm going to see the lodge lord. Xianyu suddenly turned and spoke. What do you want to do? The expression of the maiden beside her changed. I have something to ask the lodge lord. Xianyu spoke and sped away, as though she had decided on something. Outside the 4 great sects of the floating Emperor Palace, there were countless experts gathered at the testing grounds of the Devil Caves. Azure Flame Tua and his wife Yin Yusin as well as several other geniuses all appeared here. In fact, even Yin Yurua was following behind them. During these days, the devilish female was in an extremely bad mood. Her gaze roamed the surroundings as though she wanted to search for something. However, there were so many people here but there was no one she could see. That bastard, he actually didn't return. As expected, he planned to slip away the moment he arrived at the Fallen Devil Island. Yin Yurua pouted as a hint of depression flashed in her eyes. During these few days, Qin Wentian had actually vanished into thin air. There was no sign of him at all. Yurua, you should also try to see if you can pass one of the 4 devil caves. This is the qualification to enter. If you fail, even father wouldn't be able to bring you in. This is the rule of the Devil Emperor's birthday banquet. Yin Yusin walked to the side of Yin Yurua as she spoke. You guys obtained it? Yin Yurua asked. Naturally. Your brother-in-law obtained the golden medallion and would be able to obtain a good position. Let's hope that he would be able to display his brilliance on the day of the birthday banquet. Yin Yusin spoke to the devilish female. Also, the other geniuses have all obtained the golden medallion. Yurua, there's no need to think about that person anymore. He isn't worthy. You don't need to care about my matters. Yin Yurua coldly spoke. She had been brooding over the matter of Qin Wentian leaving, and was extremely unhappy with her elder sister. Fine, I don't care. You can do whatever you want. Yin Yusin coldly stated. Wait until you participate in the Demon Emperor Palace's grand event. When you see the countless geniuses competing against each other, your way of thinking will eventually change. You will understand that everything your sister said is true. Chapter 1260. The day of the Devil Emperor's birthday celebration finally arrived. Today, in the direction of the 4 devil sects, experts were as common as clouds. And within the devil sects, there was an army that could sweep through the entire Fallen Devil region. No one dared to be impudent today. The Fallen Devil Emperor was the supreme ruler of the myriad of devil islands in the Fallen Devil region. With a single command from him, all the islands had to obey. His words were akin to an imperial edict. The birthday celebration of the Fallen Devil Emperor was the grandest event in the Fallen Devil region. Today, the devil kings of the millions and millions of devil islands would come to offer their congratulations. The geniuses under them, as well as the powerful devil sects of the Fallen Devil Islands. In the 4 directions of the floating devil sect, the peak geniuses of the entire Fallen Devil region were gathered. Naturally, there were even more people here to spectate. After all, those who could obtain the qualifications to enter were the minority. However, even so, in the direction of the 4 demon sects, the people who entered the demon sects did not panic at all. They were very orderly. The strongest demon army guarded the entrances, and there were powerful existences patrolling everywhere in the void. There were even shocking demonic thoughts sweeping in all directions. Who dared to mess around? Qin Wentian, Yizimo, Chida, and a few other geniuses of the Yi clan were together, following the flow of people towards one of the devil sections. Clan Lord and the others have entered. The young man beside Yizimo stared at the group of experts in the air. They directly entered the devil sect. The Yi clan was a major clan on the Fallen Devil Island, and the clan lord could bring some powerful devil kings in. As long as their identities were verified, they wouldn't be obstructed. The other powers were the same as well. And for the many devil islands in the Fallen Devil region, only the controller of the island as well as the devil kings under them had the qualifications to directly enter the banquet. Only those at the Devil Foundation realm couldn't be brought in directly because the number was simply too great. They had to rely on themselves to pass through the Devil Cavern. Hence, Qin Wentian, Yizimo and the others were queuing up. This was only the first entrance. After ascending the stairway, there were still many more checkpoints. Qin Wentian, Yizimo, and the others arrived in front of the devil sect. A light flashed on their foreheads and they immediately entered. No one stopped them and they were very fast. After entering, there was an army guarding them along the way. They were also guiding them. They followed the path guarded by the army and went deep into the devil sect, passing through the core area. Finally, they arrived at the foot of the heaven stairway that led to the demonic palace suspended in the sky. Heavenly craftsmanship, Qin Wentian said as he looked up along the staircase. The residence of the Demon Emperor naturally has supreme prestige. Let's go up, Izimo said as he stepped forward. Qin Wentian walked forward and climbed up the stairs as if he was going straight up to the clouds. Above the heaven stairway, there was also an army of devil guards. When they stepped on it, they could see an incomparably gigantic devil gate and a majestic devil palace. Many geniuses could be seen here, as though they were on a pilgrimage. Qin Wentian has seen the palaces of immortal emperors before. The ethereal Qi was like a celestial realm in the heavens. However, the devil palace of the demon emperor only exuded a majestic aura. When they stepped on it, they could feel a sense of solemnity and majesty. No one dared to be impudent in here. This floating devil palace was extremely vast, resembling a gigantic castle. The place they were heading to now was the floating battlefield. That place was where the birthday banquet of the demon emperor would be held, as well as the place where he would summon his subordinates. Finally, Qin Wentian and the others arrived at the entrance of the floating battlefield. There was a curved viewing platform with over 100,000 seats prepared. With a single glance one could see how majestic this place was. And right in the center there was an incomparably gigantic floating battle platform. Over there were the most distinguished seats. The devil throne of the demon emperor was there. Below him were the seats for the various hegemons of the fallen devil region. And below that were the seats for the devil kings under the demon emperor. And after that were the seats for the geniuses who came here to participate in the banquet. Based on the medallion they had, they could sit at different levels. For the highest level medallion of darkness, one could sit at the same level as the devil kings. Also, everyone discovered that below the devil emperor, there were quite a few seats that were extremely close to him, surrounded by the devil kings. Many geniuses had looks of yearning in their eyes when they saw those seats. If they could sit there, they would be able to get close to the devil emperor. How glorious would that be? Qin Wentian saw countless figures following the instructions of the guards as they entered their respective regions. There were so many people, but in this extremely vast place it actually didn't seem crowded at all. This region was simply too vast. At the furthest point where the devil emperor was, if it wasn't for the fact that one had a high cultivation base and the vision of an ordinary person, they wouldn't be able to see him at all. The devil kings have already taken their seats. Qin Wentian saw the Blackstone Devil King in the Devil Kings area. He was currently chatting with the other devil kings beside him. And in the crowd before Qin Wentian, Yin Yurua and Yin Yusen were there as well. When they saw the Blackstone Devil King, Yin Yurua smiled sadly. Father can't bring me along with him. If not, I would be able to see Father up close. Forget it, just obediently stay in this area. I will accompany you. Your brother-in-law and the others have outstanding talent and can use the gold medallion to advance further. But before them, there are still the violet gold medallion and darkness medallion, which are even more valuable. However, not many people would be able to obtain them. Yin Yusen spoke in a light voice. The devilish female didn't pay too much attention to Yin Yusen's flattery towards Azure Flame too. Her beautiful eyes were roving about in all directions, and when she saw a figure at the edge of the entrance, her beautiful eyes froze. After that, she used her unique voice to call out, Qin Wentian, over here. Yin Yusen's eyes flashed. She turned her head and also saw Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian came from the same direction as them, and could be seen with a single glance. She couldn't help but to frown as she sarcastically spoke. You are actually still thinking about him. So what if he is here? Between us and him, it is destined that there will be a disparity. Yurua, there are countless geniuses here. Anyone you know might be more outstanding than him. Just wait and see. The devilish female coldly laughed, her charming eyes staring straight at Qin Wentian, as though saying, this fellow actually dares to flee. Qin Wentian saw the signature smile of the devilish female. He couldn't help but to bitterly smile and shake his head. He lifted his feet and walked forward. Yizimo and the others followed behind him. They couldn't help but to feel curious. Who was this beauty? Third princess. Qin Wentian arrived before the devilish female and called out, his words causing the eyes of Yizimo and the others to flash. Third princess? You still recognize this princess? Why did you run away for so many days? Where did you go? The devilish female stared at Qin Wentian with a suggestive gaze. She stretched out her hand and pinched Qin Wentian's waist, her actions extremely ambiguous. Yuro. Yin Yusin, who was at the side, couldn't bear to watch this any longer. She coldly spoke, Yuro, pay attention to your identity. Could it be that you still want to be entangled with a slave? Elder sis, that's enough. The devilish female berated. Are you intentionally angering him away again? Yin Yusin. Qin Wentian stared at her, his eyes gleaming with coldness as he spoke. Although I'm a devil general under the Blackstone Devil King, and I can address Yurua as the third princess, but since you are already married to someone else, there's no longer any relationship between us. You better watch your words. Threatening me? Yin Yusin's eyes flashed with coldness. A slave actually dares to be so impudent. And behind Yin Yusin, Azure Flame Tuo's gaze turned to Qin Wentian as he coldly spoke. I didn't bother to argue with you because of Yuro. You better be more polite when you speak. Brother Qin, who are these people? What arrogance! Yi Zimo walked up, coldly sweeping his gaze over. You even got a helper? The people beside Azure Flame Tuo all laughed mockingly. They are from the Azure Flame clan. As for the others, I don't know them. Qin Wentian replied. Azure Flame clan? Yi Zimo started as a bitter smile appeared on his face. Upon seeing this scene, Azure Flame Tuo had a look of arrogance on his face. As for Yin Yusin, she mocked, Yuro, do you see this? This is the influence of a powerful clan. Such a trashy clan actually dares to be so arrogant? Do your heads grow on your buttocks? Yi Zimo laughed bitterly. These people actually thought that his bitter smile was because he couldn't afford to antagonize them? This was truly interesting. Yin Yusin's expression turned cold. She stared at Azure Flame Tuo only to see Azure Flame Tuo's expression also turning cold. Trashy clan? I really want to ask, where did you come from? If you don't give me an explanation, I'm afraid you won't be able to bear the price. Even someone from the Azure Flame clan dares to threaten me? Yi Zimo glanced at the members of the Yi clan behind him. Zimo, seems like your reputation is too small. Nobody knows you at all. Someone laughed. Naturally, we can't rule out the ignorance of some trashy powers. Yi Zimo of the Yi clan was actually threatened by someone from the Azure Flame clan. If news of this were to spread out, I'm afraid it would be a joke. You are Yi Zimo? Azure Flame Tuo's expression changed. Yi Zimo of the Devil Rankings, Yi Zimo of the Yi clan. The expressions of the people beside him also changed. They clasped their hands at Yi Zimo. So it's Brother Yi? Brother Yi, do I know you guys? I haven't asked, where are you guys from? Yi Zimo's cold eyes swept over, instantly turning sharp. The expressions of those people stiffened as they replied in a trembling voice. We are just passing by and aren't familiar with the people from the Azure Flame clan. We will take our leave now. After speaking, they left while trembling. Azure Flame Tuo's expression stiffened, feeling extremely embarrassed. This Qin Wentian was actually acquainted with Yi Zimo? Brother Qin, how do you want to deal with them? Yi Zimo stared at Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian mockingly glanced at Azure Flame Tuo and Yin Yusin before shaking his head. After that, he turned to Yen, your third princess, I will go over first. I will go with you. After the devilish female spoke, she suddenly recalled that the seats were divided into different levels. She couldn't help but to smile awkwardly. Seems like I can only watch you from afar. I will look for you later. Qin Wentian walked forward. Azure Flame Tuo stepped aside. Yi Zimo stood there and glanced at Yen Yusin as he mockingly spoke. The dragon of darkness that soars through the skies naturally can't be bothered to lower itself to the level of ants on the ground. I have seen many women like you who married into the Azure Flame clan, thinking that they have climbed up the ladder of glory and splendor. Your horizons are low yet arrogant. How pitiful. Chapter 1261. Yi Zimo's words caused Yin Yusin's expression to turn extremely unsightly. It was like she was ruthlessly slapped in the face. This heaven chosen of the Yi clan was an expert on the devil rankings. His words naturally carried enough weight. As a descendant of an aristocratic clan, he must have seen many people like her who joined the devil path, including the Yi clan itself. Lowly yet arrogant, lowly yet arrogant? This seemed to be mocking the most painful part of her heart, the place where she felt inferior from the start. Her beautiful countenance contorted. After Yi Zimo spoke, He no longer bothered about her and followed after Qin Wentian, walking past her. Her husband, Azure Flame Tua, stood obediently at the side. Where was the arrogance he displayed during the gathering earlier? Everything that happened earlier now seemed so ironic. So this is the pride of elder sister and brother-in-law. How ridiculous. Yin Yurua watched from the side as she mocked. Before this, they arranged a gathering to humiliate Qin Wentian, wanting to let her experience it. But what she saw was only a bunch of ignorant people flattering each other. When she stood before Yi Zimo, she didn't even have the courage to speak. He is merely lucky and got acquainted with a descendant of the Yi clan. After all, he is just a devil general under my father. Could it be that we can be so sure of him just because of this? I truly want to see how far he can go. Yin Yusin's countenance contorted as she coldly spoke, courting his own humiliation. Yi Zimo didn't turn his head, he merely mocked. As for Qin Wentian, he couldn't be bothered with Yin Yusin from the start. Just like what Yi Zimo said, the darkness dragon that soared through the skies wouldn't lower itself to the level of an ant. Even if Qin Wentian was only a devil general under her father, she would understand how great the disparity between her and Qin Wentian was. I will accompany you to watch. Yin Yurua smiled as she stared at the back view of Qin Wentian. She believed that Qin Wentian would definitely be able to walk further than Azure Flame Tua. I'll head over first. Azure Flame Tuo's face turned ashen as he moved forward. He had obtained the golden token and would be able to obtain a pretty good position. Yin Yusin and Yin Yurua quietly stood there, watching the figures advancing. Qin Wentian was advancing, Cheetah was advancing, Yi Zimo was advancing, Azure Flame Tua was advancing as well. Finally, Azure Flame Tuo's footsteps halted. He was obstructed and could only remain at his original location. He stared at the figure that was still moving forward as his countenance changed, alternating between green and white. Clearly, regardless of Yi Zimo or Qin Wentian, both of them had walked further than him. When he thought of how he humiliated and looked down on Qin Wentian earlier, what would his wife's younger sister think if she saw this scene? He only felt that his face was burning, as if he had been slapped. Azure Flame Tua had a heavy expression on his face as he stood there. He really wanted to see which region Qin Wentian would reach before he would be obstructed. Qin Wentian naturally wouldn't care about the thoughts of the people behind him. After he walked past a region, a golden light flashed in the center of his brows. After that, the people in front of him all cleared a path for him, and he could already see the region where the Blackstone Devil King and the others were at. He passed another region. Elder Sis, you once said that those who can reach the region in front of Azure Flame Tua are all supreme characters, right? Right now, not only did Qin Wentian arrive, he even walked past the region my father is at. What do you have to say now? The devilish female stared at Qin Wentian as her heart trembled uncontrollably. Yin Yusin was speechless. Yi Zimo and Cheetah both found their seats and sat down. They were in the same region as the Devil Kings. These Devil Kings were the controllers of the Devil Islands, and the elders of the Azure Flame clan were there as well. So what if that's the case? Yin Yusin still wasn't willing to admit her mistake. So what? Can't you see that Yi Zimo has stopped but he is still walking forward? Yin Yurua's eyes gleamed with a never-before-seen light. She stared at the man who came with her. Qin Wentian was walking step by step towards the glory that belonged to him. When you entered the sky-suspending battlefield, you pointed to that place and told me that as long as one can reach there, as long as he is willing, he can easily join any major power on the fallen Devil Island and become a core disciple. You said that I would understand how outstanding the geniuses here are. However, can you not see that the man I fancy is currently walking towards the legendary place you spoke of? Yin Yurua pointed to the illusory location as she spoke, causing Yin Yusin's heart to tremble violently. At this moment, she also discovered that although Yi Zimo and Cheetah had stopped, Qin Wentian didn't. He was still moving forward, walking towards the seat below the Devil Emperor. Qin Wentian. The Blackstone Devil King stood up, staring in shock at Qin Wentian. Devil King. Qin Wentian nodded and smiled at the Blackstone Devil King. Good, very good. The Blackstone Devil King laughed uproariously. As expected of the first Devil General under me. Well done. In the surroundings, several Devil Kings nodded to Qin Wentian, asking him if he was willing to join their power. The Blackstone Devil King felt that there was light on his face. Qin Wentian was a devil general under him. Not only for the Devil King, in this boundlessly vast battlefield, countless gazes turned to Qin Wentian, staring in shock at the young man who was walking towards the legendary seat. That place was a seat below the Devil Emperor. There was actually someone who managed to reach there. At this moment, just a single seat was the focus of everyone's attention. When Yin Yurua saw this scene, a brilliant smile appeared on her face. It was as if she was the one enjoying this glory. The man who had always called her third princess and had been teased and avoided by her had now shone with brilliance that even surpassed her father's. His achievements would surpass her father's sooner or later. Although Yin Yurua was happy now, she also felt a trace of disappointment. She suddenly understood everything. How could that tiny Blackstone Devil Island be able to keep a true darkness dragon? She, the third princess of the Blackstone Devil Island, could summon the wind and rain on the Blackstone Devil Island. But on this fallen Devil Island, how could she tie such a man to her side? The man she fancied was destined not to belong to her. Qin Wentian finally sat down under the gazes of everyone. Azure Flame Tuo's countenance was already as pale as paper as he mocked himself in his heart. On the other side, Yin Yurua spoke again. Elder sis, before this, I couldn't be bothered to refute the words you said to me. Right now, think back to those humiliating words you said to him. I wonder how you feel in your heart. Enough. Yin Yusin coldly snorted. Not only did you not admit that you were wrong, you even flew into a rage out of humiliation. When you humiliated him in front of me, you were so arrogant. But reality has proven that your husband, Azure Flame Tuo, isn't even worthy to carry his shoes for him. As for you, you are also not worthy to be my elder sister. Yin Yurua spoke and turned to leave, walking to her own seat. She couldn't be bothered to walk together with her elder sister Yin Yusin. Yin Yusin stood there in a daze, staring at the figure seated before the Devil Kings. She didn't know what she was feeling in her heart. Who was the frog in the well? At the Devil Emperor's birthday banquet, geniuses gathered. Even Qin Wentian's guards were more outstanding compared to her husband. Was the Devil Emperor's birthday banquet trying to make Yin Yurua wake up? Or was it trying to make Yin Yusin wake up? Qin Wentian didn't care about all these. He sat there, surrounded by supreme existences at the Devil King realm. In fact, some of their auras were extremely terrifying. At the same time, a cold gaze landed on him. It was none other than the Black Jiao Devil King. Black Jiao, what's wrong? Not far away from the Black Jiao Devil King, there was a powerful Devil King with several terrifying characters by his side. He is the person I mentioned before. The Black Jiao Devil King transmitted his voice. After that, the eyes of that powerful Devil King flashed as he stared at Qin Wentian. This was the person who almost killed his foster son? Black Jiao, don't mention this matter again. Let's see how things turn out after the birthday banquet ends. If he attracts the attention of the Devil Emperor, just forget about this matter. That person transmitted his voice back. The Black Jiao Devil King nodded his head with some reluctance. Right now, he could only wait and hope that this Qin Wentian wouldn't be recruited by an expert. Qin Wentian. From afar, a silhouette drifted over. Qin Wentian inclined his head, only to see the silhouette of a female walking over. Upon seeing her, a smile flickered in Qin Wentian's eyes as he called out, Miss Mo. So it turned out that this female was none other than Qing Er's senior apprentice sister, GD's followers Mo Zian. She walked to a seat not far away from Qin Wentian and sat down, in the same region as Yi Zimo and the others. I already guessed that you might come to participate in the birthday banquet of the Devil Emperor. As expected, you are here. Mo Zian transmitted her voiceover. When she saw Qin Wentian's seat, she silently mused that the man she was in love with had truly become more outstanding. I'm afraid there will be more familiar faces appearing. Qin Wentian spoke. As expected, in the region where Mo Zian was at, Qin Wentian actually saw many people from the Sky Mist Immortal Emperor's side. Not only for the 100 participants, there were other peak-level Immortal Foundation experts as well. Back then, the Sky Mist Immortal Emperor's side didn't merely send 100 participants into the battlefield. Ba Xiao from the Royal Devil Sect has arrived. At this moment, someone laughed as he stared at the experts from the Royal Devil Sect. And as expected, Ba Xiao walked over step by step. When he saw Qin Wentian appearing in the core region, his eyes flashed with coldness. Even for him, he didn't manage to enter the core region. Seems like it won't be easy to sit in those positions. Ba Xiao should be a character at the peak of the devil rankings, yet he still failed to sit there. Someone spoke in a low voice. To pass through the 4 great devil layers, and in addition, one has to obtain a darkness command light. Such an all-round character would only appear once every 100 years. I wonder which power nurtured this young man. There's also such a person under my sect. At this moment someone spoke. The gazes of everyone turned over as they all bowed to the person who spoke. This person walked over step by step, causing everyone to make way for him. It was as though his status was extremely high. This person was an extremely terrifying devil king on the fallen devil island. A peak-level devil king. In addition, his power was extremely vast, and what made people feel trepidation was that he could enter the Emperor Palace at any time and meet with the Devil Emperor. It was rumored that when this man was young, he once roamed the myriad devil islands together with the Devil Emperor. Senior Xia, are you referring to Xia Yuan on the devil rankings? This Xia Yuan was an extremely terrifying existence on the devil rankings. Not him. That devil king hid his hands in his sleeves. He walked to the side of the devil emperor chair and sat down. Xia Yuan is inferior to him. You all will know very soon. Chapter 1262. Many experts had looks of curiosity on their faces. This devil king wasn't someone ordinary devil kings could be compared to. Even at the same level, the disparity between them was extremely great. In addition, he was a good friend of the Devil Emperor, and roamed the world together with him when he was young. This layer of relationship caused him to have a transcendent status. At this moment, who was the person he admired so much? The devil kings of the various major powers on the fallen devil island were all extremely curious. Old ancestor. From afar a person called out. After that, a young man in black walked over, directly walking to the core position and sat behind Qin Wentian. He was even more outstanding compared to Ba Xiao. Xia Yuan, do your best. The old Xia devil king calmly nodded. This person was none other than Xia Yuan, an extremely terrifying character on the devil rankings. Xia Yuan was a terrifying character, who had been stuck at the peak of Devil Foundation for hundreds of years. A few hundred years ago, he had already taken that step and peaked at the gate of the Devil King realm. His strength wasn't something those who had just peaked at the gate could compare to. Hence, this was the reason why he was able to walk to the core position. Xia Yuan, Old Chai and Ba Xiao were the 3 most terrifying characters on the devil rankings. Ba Xiao was also the weakest among the 3. Xia Yuan and Old Chai were even more terrifying compared to Ba Xiao. However, the old Xia Devil King said that this person wasn't Xia Yuan. Xia Yuan was inferior to him. Who was this person the old Xia Devil King was talking about exactly? The experts continued to arrive. Even the powerful devil kings under the Devil Emperor were here. They all nodded to the old Xia Devil King. Old Xia, are you doing well? Lord Devil Emperor misses old Xia very much. At my level, what can be bad about me? The only thing that makes me feel bad is that I can't break through and can't stand shoulder to shoulder with your Lord Devil Emperor. The old Xia Devil King laughed. Everyone didn't feel surprised. On the fallen Devil Island, only he could speak in such a manner, using the Devil Emperor as a comparison. Who asked them to be friends when they roamed the world together when they were young? There was no way for them to compare. Even the most loyal subordinates of the fallen Devil Emperor wouldn't dare to compete with him. It was said that the relationship between the fallen Devil Emperor and Old Xia was extremely close. If not, the 2 of them wouldn't be so close right now. Elder Xia is right. With Elder Xia's mental state and bearing, he will break through that layer of shackles sooner or later. The various demon kings laughed. I shall depend on your auspicious words then. The old Xia Devil King stroked his beard and smiled. Xia Yuan, you're early. At this moment another voice rang out. Everyone turned their heads and saw an old man walking over. Although this person looked very old, his gait was as vigorous as a dragon and as vigorous as a tiger. Old Chai is here. A devil king laughed. This old Chai was an extremely famous character on the devil rankings and was recognized as one of the 2 strongest. Also, he had been on the devil rankings for far too long. So long that even though the devil rankings changed again and again, he was still on it. Evidently old Chai was very old and had been stuck at this realm for a very, very long time. He could already be considered to have cultivated to the pinnacle of devil foundation, but he still had no way to break through to the final layer. There were people who said that his talent was still a notch lower. Being able to reach this step today was already due to his hard work and luck. There were also people who said that old Chai just didn't have enough good fortune. If he didn't have talent, he wouldn't have been able to reach this step. Young fellows are always full of energy. I'm already too old and can't hold on much longer. Old Chai walked to the side of Xia Yuan and sat down. He patted Xia Yuan on his shoulder like they were old friends. However, Xia Yuan merely snorted coldly, "Don't worry. I will be extremely careful when dealing with you. In case I don't even know how I died in your hands in the future." Young people always speak bluntly. I'm already so old, there's no point in me fighting and killing. Today, I came here only to offer my congratulations to the fallen Devil Emperor. Speaking of which, this old man of mine has already offered my congratulations to the fallen Devil Emperor several times, but sadly, I'm still stuck at this level. Old Chai shook his head as his gaze turned to Qin Wentian. "Little fellow, who are you? Why haven't I seen you before?" Old Chai asked. "My name is Qin Wentian." Qin Wentian turned his head and smiled. "There will always be geniuses in every generation. The world is still yours." Old Chai sighed like he was admitting to his old age. However, Qin Wentian merely smiled. How could there be any simple devil cultivators at this level? The devil kings in the surroundings were chatting idly. Qin Wentian quietly listened and discovered that many devil kings from the myriad devil islands seemed to be very confident in their subordinates. As time flowed by, Qin Wentian already saw over 10 familiar faces. However, the majority of them were people from the Sky Mist Immortal Emperor's side. This was determined by the number of people from the Sky Mist Immortal Emperor's side. Qin Wentian also didn't interact with these people. In such a situation, it was better for him to keep a low profile. It was fine as long as both sides knew each other's intentions. As for those from the Sky Mist Immortal Emperor's side, they naturally coldly stared at each other. Another person came to the region where Qin Wentian was and sat beside Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian glanced at him and nodded his head lightly. That person also nodded his head lightly, causing many to have looks of bewilderment on their faces. What did these two mean by this? Did they know each other or not? At this moment, in the region where Chido was, several figures stood up at the same time. Their gazes turned to a figure not far away, walking over here. The moment he stood there, he instantly became the focal point of everyone. Many devil kings stared at this person. All of them were attracted by his aura. Although this person was only at the peak of devil foundation, his spirit and aura seemed to be completely natural. Every step he took seemed to contain a mysterious rhythm to it. This person wasn't simple. "Haha, he's here." The old Xia Devil King laughed, causing the eyes of all the devil kings to flash. Was this person the one the old Xia Devil King spoke of? He said that even Xia Yuan was inferior to this person. Given the judgment of the old Xia Devil King, there was no way he would make a mistake. In that case, this person must surely be extremely outstanding. Who is he? Why does old Xia praise him so much? A powerful devil king under the Devil Emperor asked. I've only known him for a short period of time, but you all will soon know why I admire him so much. He will surely become the most dazzling character in the future. At that time, I hope that your Lord Devil Emperor would accept him as a disciple. His future accomplishments would surely be extraordinary. The old Xia Devil King laughed, staring at the young man, feeling extremely satisfied. Old Xia. The young man walked over, nodding his head to old Xia. Take a seat. I'm waiting for your performance. The old Xia Devil King smiled. The young man glanced at the people in the surroundings. After that, he walked to the side of Qin Wentian and sat down. He didn't look at Qin Wentian and just quietly sat there. Xia Yuan glanced at the young man before him as a complicated look flashed in his eyes. The old ancestor regarded this young man even more highly than him, causing him to feel a grudge. However, he had fought against this young man before, and Xia Yuan understood why the old ancestor would regard this young man so highly. This young man was truly a terrifying monster. The young man sat down. Those experts who stood up earlier all sat down as well. Many gazes landed on the young man, including the spectators on the battlefield. They were all paying attention to those people in the core region. I knew you would come for sure. At this moment, the young man who had been incomparably calm from the start spoke, causing the people around him as well as the Devil King to turn to him. Who was he talking to? So, Qin Wentian replied. As the sound of his voice faded, the eyes of the Devil Kings all gleamed with sharpness. These two dazzling characters actually knew each other. So, I came to the Fallen Devil Island earlier than you and was waiting for you here. The young man continued. Qin Wentian smiled. Now you have finally arrived. Let's hope you won't disappoint me. The young man calmly spoke. Back then when you were in there, I naturally won't disappoint you this time around. Qin Wentian calmly spoke. The person sitting beside him was none other than Huang Shatian. He had arrived, and from Huang Shaishan's words, he came to the Fallen Devil Island earlier than Qin Wentian. He was even acquainted with the old Xia Devil King, causing the old Xia Devil King to regard him highly. On the Fallen Devil Island, the old Xia Devil King was the person closest to the Devil Emperor realm. One could say that Huang Shaishan's first step was even further than him. Huang Shatian was truly a terrifying opponent. Interesting. The old Xia Devil King laughed. He didn't expect that there would be someone Huang Shatian was waiting for here. In addition, this person was already seated here before Huang Shatian. Seems like this birthday banquet is getting more and more interesting. From afar, the Blackstone Devil King furrowed his brows, feeling somewhat worried. The person whom the old Xia Devil King regarded highly seemed to have a grudge with Qin Wentian. He knew that Qin Wentian came from the immortal realms and was searching for someone. This person was most definitely an enemy of Qin Wentian in the immortal realms. Also, there was no need to doubt the strength of this person since he was able to gain the admiration of the old Xia Devil King. The vast battlefield was filled with banquets as the crowd gathered. At a location slightly further away, a beautiful silhouette appeared. It was actually Xian Yu of the Celestial Devil Lodge. Only to see Xian Yu's beautiful eyes constantly scanning the crowd. However, even after a long time, she still couldn't find the person she was looking for. Inadvertently, she glanced at those esteemed seats in the center, and in the next instant, her beautiful eyes froze there as she felt her heart pounding. She saw the person she was looking for. He was sitting in the most central area together with the Devil King, so dazzling. Even for Ba Xiao, he wasn't qualified to sit there. Ha ha ha. It's so lively again this year. Old friend, you are here again. A voice rang out. After that, the crowd only saw a silhouette directly materializing as he walked to the front of the Emperor's throne. At this instant, on the battlefield, countless figures stood up and bowed. We pay our respects to the Devil Emperor. I came, but how can I compare to you? The old Xia Devil King also stood up. Although this was an old friend, this old friend of his was the Devil Emperor. He still had to show some respect. Old friend, you are doing this too. The Devil Emperor laughed, pressing old Xia Devil King back to his seat. After that, he also sat on the Devil Throne and stared at the crowd with imposingness in his eyes. Everyone, please be seated. The fallen Devil Emperor waved his hand. Thank you, Devil Emperor. The crowd bowed and sat down. Countless gazes landed on the Devil Emperor, wanting to see clearly what sort of existence the master of this boundlessly vast fallen devil region was. Chapter 1263. Qin Wentian also turned his gaze to the fallen Devil Emperor. The imposing Devil Emperor didn't exude any aura. He merely smiled as he sat on the Devil Throne, exuding a domineering aura, as though he was the ruler of the world. Today is a rare 100 years. Many of you came from afar to offer your congratulations. I've prepared a banquet for everyone to enjoy. There's no need to feel restrained. The fallen Devil Emperor lifted his wine cup in the air. After that, countless figures lifted their wine cups and toasted the Devil Emperor, draining the contents in a single gulp. Alright, there's no need to be polite anymore. Let the banquet begin. The fallen Devil Emperor waved his hand. After that, the experts all called out, "Many thanks to your majesty." With that, the banquet began and it was a bustling scene. Old friend, I'm in a good mood today. How about we enjoy a dance? The fallen Devil Emperor spoke to the old Xia Devil King beside him. It's rare for you to be in such a mood. I naturally have no objections. It's just that my old body might not be able to withstand Emoji's dance. The old Xia Devil King laughed. Emoji's dance is truly unparalleled under the heavens, able to topple entire cities with a single dance. The fallen Devil Emperor smiled and nodded. Beside him, a Devil King under his command called out, "Let's invite Emoji." As the sound of his voice faded, not far away from the Devil Emperor, a layer of mist suddenly appeared in the air, drifting downwards unceasingly like an illusion. Finally, the mist landed in the air not far away from the Devil Emperor. Celestial Devil Lodge? Qin Wentian's eyes flashed as he inclined his head and stared at the air. Amidst the crowd at the banquet, numerous silhouettes suddenly appeared. All of them were clad in white, and their movements were graceful. With every step they took, they would attract the gazes of countless people as they moved together with them. Exine. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed. Among these 9 maidens, one of them was none other than Exine Yu, who accompanied him back then. She soared through the air, her speed was neither fast nor slow, as though there was a mysterious rhythm to her movements, yet exuded a sense of breathtaking beauty. This time around, Qin Wentian discovered that the beauties of these 9 women were all top-notch. They were even more beautiful compared to the dancers he saw in the Celestial Devil Lodge back then. Evidently, for the sake of celebrating the birthday of the Devil Emperor, the Celestial Devil Lodge invited the strongest dancers. What a beautiful lass. Even at my age I can feel her charm. How can the younger generation endure it? No wonder the Celestial Devil Lodge is so powerful, causing countless heroes and geniuses to be mesmerized by it. Old Xia spoke. 9 silhouettes landed in the mist, dancing gracefully. Their white dresses fluttered in the wind. Their waists were slender and graceful. Each and every one of their movements was filled with boundless charm. In an instant, the crowd only felt that those 9 women were right in front of their eyes, occupying their minds. Many people involuntarily put down their wine cups and stared at them in a daze. The dance of the Celestial Devil Lodge wasn't something everyone would be able to enjoy normally. Even for geniuses, only those rankers on the Devil King rankings and Devil King rankings had the qualifications to enjoy it. Now they could feast their eyes. These demonesses are so powerful. Yin Yurua sat among the crowd. Even as a female, she could feel the charm of these women, let alone the men. She turned her gaze in the direction of Qin Wentian only to see Qin Wentian inclined his head, staring at the dancers. She was so angered that her face puffed up as she cursed in a low voice, Demoness, this bastard has been missing for a long time. Could he have gone to look for these demonesses? One couldn't help but say that these demonesses were truly powerful. Qin Wentian really went to look for them. Yin Yusin's gaze turned to her husband, Azure Flame Tuo, only to see that Azure Flame Tuo's eyes were misty, as though he was already deeply mesmerized. It was as though he wanted nothing more than to rush over there. Yin Yusin's expression instantly turned extremely unsightly. Not only for Azure Flame Tuo, countless geniuses here soon fell into the dance as well. The Mercury Lady Devil art was able to cause them to be immersed in it, unable to extricate themselves from it. At this moment, the sound of a zither rang out, akin to the spring breeze brushing past the water surface. It was comfortable and soft, stirring the hearts of everyone. In the air, a beautiful celestial maiden descended from the sky. She played the zither and smiled in the direction of the Devil Emperor. This smile caused countless people to fall into a daze. Even the gazes of Devil Kings were mesmerized. How powerful! Qin Wentian only felt his mind going out of control, as though he was completely immersed in it. In his entire world, there was only that maiden as well as that beautiful dance. The melody of the zither and the dance perfectly fused together. When that maiden placed her zither down and stood in the center of the 9 people, it was as though she was the only one left in this world. The master of the Celestial Devil Lodge, Emoji. Who? Beads of sweat appeared on Qin Wentian's forehead. After that, he relaxed and no longer resisted. He was completely immersed in the dance, admiring the beauty of it. He knew that he wouldn't be able to resist the Mercury Lady Devil art. Good dance, shocking the world with a single dance. As expected of Emoji, Old Xia Devil King sighed in admiration. Even many Devil Kings had already fallen into her hands. As the sound of his voice faded, The mist gradually dissipated as the dance came to a halt. Emoji walked to the front and bowed to the fallen devil emperor. Emoji congratulates your majesty on your birthday. Haha emoji. Come sit beside me and drink a cup or two. The fallen devil emperor smiled. Yes, your majesty. Emoji nodded lightly. Her silhouette floated over and landed beside the devil emperor. She twisted her body and softly leaned against the devil emperor, exuding boundless charm. Many people had looks of envy in their eyes when they stared at the devil emperor, wanting nothing more than to transform into the devil emperor and embrace this beauty in his arms. However, they merely thought about it. Who asked this person to be the devil emperor? Only the devil emperor would be able to make emoji willingly serve him. How could they be qualified? You guys can take a seat. The devil emperor spoke to the other 9 maidens. Many thanks, your majesty. The 9 maidens nodded lightly. Their silhouettes flickered as they moved towards Qin Wentian's direction. Xinyu walked over to him and smiled. Sir Qin, can I sit beside you? Miss Xinyu, feel free to do so. Qin Wentian smiled and nodded. In this area, each of them had their own tables. The seats were very spacious and there was no problem for 2 people to sit together. Xinyu sat beside Qin Wentian, pouring wine for Qin Wentian. I didn't expect Miss Xinyu's dance to be so beautiful. Qin Wentian smiled as he received it. I initially wanted to dance for Sir Qin to see, but it seems like Sir Qin has already forgotten about Xinyu and has never visited me again. Xinyu seemed to feel a little wronged, lightly leaning on Qin Wentian's arm. Her voice was soft and gentle, like they were a pair of lovers. Behind them, Yizimo laughed. Brother Qin is truly awesome. And not far away from them, Ba Zhao's expression was extremely heavy. Demoness, demoness, demoness. The third princess Yin Yurua stomped her feet in anger when she saw this scene. To think that her guess was right, this bastard actually went to seduce other women. No wonder he was nowhere to be seen. The Blackstone Devil King was astonished when he saw this scene. After that, he bitterly smiled and shook his head. For someone like Qin Wentian to come to the fallen devil sect, it was impossible for him to be buried. The radiance on him would only grow brighter and brighter. You are truly so carefree. Huang Shatian drank a cup of wine as he calmly spoke. Qin Wentian didn't reply. He was contemplating in his heart. Back then in the Sacred Academy, Huang Shatian already had a glimpse of the gate to the Immortal King realm. His combat prowess was unparalleled. After that, after the last Tao lecture, his strength underwent a qualitative transformation. Most probably, Huang Shatian had also walked even further. After returning to the 9 Emperors' immortal state, Huang Shatian would definitely have consolidated his strength. Right now, even the old Xia Devil King who had a very good relationship with the Devil Emperor regarded Huang Shatian highly. Most probably, Huang Shatian has already reached a terrifying level. This was a formidable opponent. Qin Wentian would definitely not underestimate him. During these 100 years, I wonder what other geniuses appeared on my fallen Devil Island. Also, have there been any outstanding characters on the various Devil Islands? The Devil Emperor glanced behind him as he spoke. An extremely powerful character appeared on my Devil Island. Sir Devil Emperor. There's also an extremely outstanding character on my Devil Island. Reporting to your majesty, the young man sitting there, receiving the favor of the beauties from the Celestial Devil Lodge, is someone from my Devil Island. The Blackstone Devil King pointed to Qin Wentian as he spoke. Oh, being able to sit in that position, not bad. The Devil Emperor smiled as he glanced at Qin Wentian. After that, he turned to emoji beside him and asked, have you seen this young man before? He should have been to the Celestial Devil Lodge before. I didn't pay much attention to him. However, this last Xinyu is extremely outstanding. Ba Xiao on the devil rankings pestered her daily, but she didn't even bother to look him in the eye. This time around she took the initiative to come here because of this young man. Also, being able to sit in that position, there must be something extraordinary about him. Emoji smiled. Seems like things are going to be interesting this time around. The Devil Emperor laughed as he stared at the old Xia Devil King. Emoji seems to have a very high evaluation of this little fellow. But I heard that you also have a very high evaluation of the young man beside him. No matter who he is, no matter how outstanding he is, it's destined that no one will be able to snatch away his limelight. You will naturally understand after you see him. This time around, you will definitely leave the position of the top ranker to him." The old Xia Devil King laughed. "So confident? In that case, I will have to take a good look." The Devil Emperor laughed. To him, this birthday banquet was merely a 100-year tradition. He wanted the Devil Kings of the myriad of Devil Islands to pay their respects, and at the same time, he wanted to see how strong the younger generations of the Devil region were. Sitting in the position of the Devil Emperor, in truth, there was nothing in the fallen Devil region that was worthy of his attention. "Go and activate the battle formation." The Devil Emperor instructed a Devil King beside him. That Devil King nodded and left his location. The eyes of the old Xia Devil King turned to the vast battle platform in the center. Not too long after, the battle platform underwent a transformation. Boundless light enveloped the entire platform as the scenery within changed. Everyone could feel a surge of supremely powerful spatial attributed energy. They all knew that although this battle platform was incomparably vast, it was still impossible for it to contain all the devils here. They could only rely on the battle formation to transform the platform into an even vaster spatial dimension, transforming it into a world of its own. Chapter 1264. A Devil King beside the Devil Emperor stood up. He stared at the experts here and spoke in a clear voice. "The myriad Devil Islands value martial prowess. Our fallen Devil region is no exception. Everyone here might have come from various places in the fallen Devil region to pay your respects to the Devil Emperor. Now the Devil Emperor will also give you all a chance to display yourselves." Everyone turned solemn when they heard this. They understood that this was indeed an opportunity for them. For Devil cultivators, their slaughter was even more brutal compared to those in the immortal realms. For those who climbed up from the bottom, they had to experience countless calamities before they could climb to the top, not being enslaved by others. The chance to meet the Devil Emperor was something that only happens once every 100 years. Also, they had to be able to catch up and display their prowess here. Even if they weren't valued highly by the Devil Emperor, as long as their performance was dazzling enough, they would have a chance to be valued by many of the major devil sects here. After this banquet ends, they would have a chance to join those peak-level devil sections. Such an opportunity could truly only be encountered once every 100 years. The Devil King beside the Devil Emperor pointed to the battlefield and spoke. "That place is a devil formation. Inside is a spatial dimension, boundlessly vast. From the outside, one can clearly see everything happening inside. But for you guys who are inside, your devil sense will be restricted. You can only use your eyes to see and do your best to fight, fighting until the very end. Only then would the Devil Emperor and the other Devil Kings notice your existence. The further you go, the more conspicuous you will be. As to why we want to restrict your devil sense, it's because many of you are acquainted with each other. This is to prevent some people from joining forces to cause unfairness. However, fairness is relative. You guys must understand that in a place like the myriad Devil Islands, if you want to survive, if you want to grow stronger, no one will give you a fair environment. You can only struggle in blood before you can advance. Hence, once you are inside, you can do whatever you can to obtain victory. That Devil King spoke in a loud voice. However, the Devil Emperor and Devil Kings can tell that you guys are relying on yourself or external forces. If you know that you have no chance of victory and have the danger of dying, just head to the highest level of the spatial dimension. As long as you touch the light screen, you will be sent out by the spatial energy. However, many times during the battle, you won't be able to make it in time. If you die in there, don't blame anyone. You can choose whether you want to enter or not. At the end of this battle, Lord Demon Emperor will choose the top 10 geniuses and bestow treasures to 7 of them. As for the other 3, they can make a request to Lord Demon Emperor. This is a gift from Lord Demon Emperor. Work hard. After you've thought it through, you can enter. The Devil King waved his sleeves, and the crowd saw that on the floating battle platform, there were many spatial doors flickering with a dazzling brilliance. They could already step into them. Many figures stood up, and in an instant the vast banquet hall shook, giving everyone a strong visual impact. The Devil Emperor and the various Devil Kings watched this scene with smiles on their faces. They watched as the figures walked through the doors of the battle platforms, stepping into the floating sky battle platforms. They were assigned to different places. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed. He looked at the figures walking in and found that even if they entered from the same entrance, they would still be sent to different places in the inner battlefield. There were no rules to the teleportation, so he could not find the other inside, but he could see them clearly from the outside. Qin Wentian understood in his heart. By doing this, it was indeed fair. If not, the members of some of the major clans would definitely gather together at the first instant. Are we still not moving out? Huang Shatian calmly spoke. Qin Wentian smiled and stood up. Sir Qin. Xian Yu, who was beside him, called out. Qin Wentian glanced at her only to hear Xian Yu speaking in a light voice. Xian Yu will wait outside for Sir Qin's safe return. Qin Wentian smiled and nodded to Xian Yu. With a step he soared into the air. Qi De and the others followed after him, moving towards the battlefield, entering the battle platforms together with the crowd. Xian Yu, just you wait. At this moment Ba Xiao walked above Xian Yu as he spoke in a cold tone. After that, his silhouette flashed as he also flew inside. The battle platform was like a terrifying whirlpool, unceasingly devouring the geniuses. Azure Flame Tua also entered. Yin Yusin was a little nervous. Although everyone seemed very confident earlier, when she saw how many geniuses there were here, how could she not be nervous? She initially wanted to broaden Yin Yurua's horizons by coming to the Devil Emperor's birthday celebration. But in the end, her own horizons were broadened. She knew that her husband, whom she worshipped, couldn't be considered anything here. There were many people more outstanding than her husband. That bastard. The third princess Yin Yurua's silhouette flashed as she also flew towards the battle platform. She had always wanted to go to Qin Wentian's side, but she wasn't qualified. In that case, she could only go to the battlefield to look for him. Yurua, what are you doing? Yin Yusin berated when she saw this scene. There's no need for you to interfere in my matters. Yin Yurua spoke. Yin Yusin's silhouette flashed with extreme speed, blocking Yin Yurua's path as she spoke. Are you courting death? This place is the Fallen Devil Island, not the Blackstone Devil Island. There are many powerful devil cultivators here, and they wouldn't show mercy. The Myriad Devil War isn't just a few battles. You would already be killed before you could find your lover. The beautiful eyes of the third princess glanced over. She also knew that Yin Yusin's words weren't without reason, but she still felt some reluctance. Look below, there are so many geniuses here, but none of them have any intention to enter. What's the point of you entering? Yin Yusin pulled her along. Follow me back. This time around, Yin Yurua didn't resist and followed Yin Yusin back. Although the two of them didn't see eye to eye, they were still sisters after all. Yin Yusin wouldn't allow her to send herself to death. Is there anyone else who wants to enter? If not, the battle platform will be closed and no one is allowed to enter. A devil king in the air spoke. There were some people who were still hesitating. Their silhouettes flashed as they also rushed in. Okay, from now onwards, no one is allowed to enter the battle platform. That devil king then retreated, not obstructing the vision of the spectators. Countless experts inclined their heads and stared at the battlefield. Although the battlefield inside was extremely vast, from the outside, it seemed like countless devil cultivators were gathered here. It was truly a scene of chaos and chaos. It was easier said than done if one wanted to stand out. If one was the slightest bit careless, they might even die. Emoji, who do you think will win? The Devil Emperor smiled at Emoji, who was leaning on him. Those who sat in the front seats earlier are naturally the most outstanding batch of geniuses. As for the last 10 geniuses you thought highly of, they should be among them as well. Emoji laughed. Old Xia, next I truly want to see how strong the young man you admired is exactly. The Devil Emperor laughed. Just watch, you will be pleasantly surprised. The eyes of the old Xia Devil King gleamed with a dazzling light. I will wait then. The fallen Devil Emperor laughed. His eyes directly locked onto Huang Shatian, who was in the Sumeru dimension. After Huang Shatian entered the battlefield, a terrifying law might gushed forth from him, enveloping him in all directions. His entire person shone with a dark devilish light. Evidently, Huang Shatian had also cultivated a technique similar to the immortal devil transformation art, transforming his immortal energy into tyrannical devil energy. Behind Huang Shatian, a terrifying screen of darkness appeared. Within the screen of darkness, numerous terrifying devil weapons could be seen. There were incomparably sharp devil swords, tyrannical spears of darkness. The screen of darkness behind him seemed to be an independent dimension, and from within, countless devil weapons could be seen. Not bad, such spatial energy has already reached the peak of perfection. He has already walked very far into the immortal king realm. Next, let's see how strong he is. The eyes of the fallen devil emperor flashed. The devil kings in the surroundings also nodded silently, following the gaze of the devil emperor to focus on Huang Shatian. Huang Shatian moved. He appeared in a stretch of yellow sand and directly soared through the air. Very swiftly, the silhouette of an expert appeared before him. Although his immortal sense was obstructed, there were simply too many people in this dimension. If he continued forward, he would still be able to easily bump into others. That person could feel the pressure from Huang Shatian as a hint of wariness appeared in his heart. He could faintly sense that Huang Shatian was extremely dangerous. Boom! The spatial screen of light behind Huang Shatian erupted with intense light, engulfing everything. After that, that person only felt a blinding light shooting towards him. His countenance drastically changed as his aura frenziedly erupted forth. However, it was already too late. The devil swords, devil sabers, and spears in the spatial light screen instantly traversed the void, like tens of thousands of soldiers attacking at the same time, tyrannical to the extreme. In just an instant, a thunderous boom shook the entire space, and the body of the cultivator directly disappeared in the light, obliterated. That person didn't even have a chance to resist. He didn't even have the time to take out his devil weapon. How powerful! The eyes of the devil kings flashed. As expected of someone the old Xia devil king held in high regard, a single strike from him was truly tyrannical to the extreme. Look at him, he is already the #1 ranker. How about it? The old Xia devil king laughed. Let's observe a little more. This little bit isn't enough. Look at Xia Yuan and old Chai, they aren't weak as well. The devil emperor laughed. Although this was the case since his old friend spoke, he would still give some face. As long as Huang Shatian was truly strong enough, he wouldn't mind giving him the #1 ranker as long as he said it. Among the devil kings, the Blackstone devil king furrowed his brows. This Huang Shatian was truly very powerful, and was even recommended by the old Xia devil king. However, this person seemed to have a grudge with Qin Wentian. If this was the case, things wouldn't be good for Qin Wentian. His gaze turned to the location where Qin Wentian was at. At this moment, Qin Wentian was in a forest. He had also encountered his first opponent. 7th level? That person sensed the aura radiating from Qin Wentian as a mocking smile flashed in his eyes. Do you think this battlefield is a game? Even if your talent is strong enough to allow you to sit in the core region, this place isn't just a place for talent. It's a place for combat. Qin Wentian frowned when he heard the words of his opponent. It was a fact that his cultivation base was on the lower side. If everyone who met him sensed his aura, they would definitely come looking for trouble with him. If that was the case, things would be extremely troublesome. Chapter 1265. Although Qin Wentian wasn't afraid of continuous challenges, this battlefield was known as a place where all the peak-level Devil Foundation experts of the Fallen Devil region were present. There was no doubt that he would encounter many of them on his way here. If he had to fight every single one of them, the burden on him would be extremely great. If that was the case, how would he be able to be in his best condition when fighting against Huang Shatian? You are not my opponent. Just step aside. Qin Wentian calmly spoke. The people here would be eliminated sooner or later. Even if he didn't fight, the others would. If he could force them to retreat without a fight, that would undoubtedly be the best choice. However, it was clearly impossible to force a devil cultivator to retreat with just a single sentence from him. A cold smile appeared on the lips of that devil cultivator. His hands glowed with a blood-colored light, transforming into terrifying blood-colored devil hands that exuded a bloody and dangerous aura. Qin Wentian shook his head. With an intention of his will, a sword appeared in his hands. The sword hummed as demonic qi gushed forth, reflecting a resplendent cold light. The thin edge of the sword gave off a sense of coldness, as though it could slice through the throat with a single slash. Just using a divine weapon? The eyes of that Devil Foundation expert flashed. You are truly not worthy to sit in that position. Between devil cultivators, victory is the most important. Would they still care about the rules? Qin Wentian shook his head. The wings of a great rock appeared behind him as his silhouette flickered. He was like a great rock as he directly dodged to the side, causing a look of astonishment to appear on the face of that devil cultivator. He actually chose to avoid the battle? Shameless. That devil cultivator chased after Qin Wentian. The blood-colored light radiating from him was terrifying. Qin Wentian, who was in front, lightly shook his head. This devil cultivator was truly stubborn. Not only did he not want to fight, he actually wanted to chase after Qin Wentian. Bzz. Qin Wentian abruptly turned, his speed akin to that of a wind rock. With a flash, he directly rushed towards that devil cultivator. Courting death. The powerful demonic cultivator's blood-colored demonic hand instantly enlarged, grabbing towards Qin Wentian's body. The blood-colored light directly engulfed Qin Wentian. Whoosh! The sword light was like a cold moon. Qin Wentian's body moved past his opponent and stopped behind his opponent. His body was filled with terrifying rule power, and on the body of the demonic cultivator, traces of the sword piercing through appeared. Accompanied by a piercing sound, the sword chi completely erupted. The devil cultivator's countenance was filled with extreme fear as he screamed in agony. His body was completely torn apart and turned into nothingness. He had died. In the distance, there were two devil cultivators who just happened to witness this scene. They didn't come forward, instead, they quietly turned and left. That sword strike caused them to feel a chill run down their spine. It was best not to provoke this person for the time being. An unconventional move? The Blackstone Devil King nodded silently when he saw Qin Wentian's actions. This fellow was clearly powerful, yet he was so low profile, not even hesitating to fight. Although this might cause others to criticize him, the Blackstone Devil King could faintly understand that this was because Qin Wentian's ambition was too great. This little fellow is quite interesting. Emoji's beautiful eyes landed in the direction of Qin Wentian as she smiled, summoning a divine weapon right at the start of the battle. Also, although this divine weapon hasn't unleashed its full power, it definitely isn't weak. Even if his strength is strong, it ultimately isn't the King Dao. Only Huang Shatian can kill those who obstruct him. This is the tyrannical path of a devil. The aura of a king isn't something that the sword-wielding devil cultivator can compare to. The old Xia Devil King who was at the side spoke. He still regarded Huang Shatian more highly. Tyrannical, cold, those who obstructed him would die. Such a devil was a true devil lord. Only a devil lord would be able to achieve the strongest devil Dao. Old Xia naturally has his reasons for saying this. Emoji smiled. She was the Lodge Lord of the Celestial Devil Lodge, and was naturally extremely tactful when interacting with others. If the Celestial Devil Lodge wanted to continue existing on the Fallen Devil Island, they definitely had to have a connection with the Devil Emperor. Today, everyone saw her leaning on the Devil Emperor. As long as the Devil Emperor was around, who would dare to touch the Celestial Devil Lodge? However, Emoji also understood that there were some people she couldn't afford to offend. For example, this old Xia. The weight of this old man in the heart of the Devil Emperor was extremely heavy. Hence, she naturally had to listen to his words. Look at Xia Yuan, he isn't bad as well. He has the same aura as you did back then. The Devil Emperor laughed, his gaze landing on Xia Yuan. Although Xia Yuan isn't bad, if he fought against old Chai head-on, he might still lose. The old Xia Devil King frowned. Although he had high hopes for Huang Shatian, he naturally also placed great importance on his descendant, Xia Yuan. Other than Xia Yuan and Huang Shatian, the other person he paid attention to was none other than old Chai. This old Chai held a hatchet in his hand and always had a smile on his face. He looked harmless, old and useless, but with a single slash he could take someone's life. Killing his opponents was as easy as chopping firewood. Just by looking at his posture, these devil cultivators could tell that countless people had died under his hands. Only then would he be able to cultivate such a natural killing hatchet technique. Xia Yuan was tyrannical, old Chai was sinister and cold-blooded. Old Xia was more interested in old Chai's strength. However, if old Chai encountered Huang Shatian, under the tyranny of the devil Dao, old Chai would die for sure. The eyes of the old Xia Devil King gleamed with sharpness. Emoji's beautiful eyes flashed with a deep smile. This old Xia Devil King was such a character, yet he actually hoped for a junior like Old Chai to die. Most probably it was because Xia Yuan and Old Chai were both the most outstanding characters on the devil rankings. In addition to Old Chai's danger, he felt that Old Chai might be able to threaten Xia Yuan's life. However, Old Chai was also an extremely intelligent person. He knew how powerful Xia Yuan was as well as his identity. How would he act against Xia Yuan so easily? The Devil Kings behind him were different from the people the old Xia Devil King paid attention to. They were all paying attention to the people they brought with them. If they could be ranked within the top 10 by the Devil Emperor, they would be able to leave behind an impression on the Devil Emperor. Also, this would be an extremely glorious matter. What's even more beneficial was that once they were selected by the Devil Emperor, the rewards from the Devil Emperor were secondary. They would definitely be able to join a Supreme Devil sect on the Fallen Devil Island, and might even become a direct subordinate force of the Devil Emperor. In that case, they would have people on the Fallen Devil Island in the future. The people on the battlefield didn't think so much. They were only thinking about how to obtain victory. If they wanted to be selected by the Devil Emperor, they had to stay until the very end. If not, they would all be eliminated. It was useless no matter how high their talent was. It was impossible for the Devil Emperor to select someone to be eliminated. If they were killed, things would be even more miserable. In the battlefield, battles continued to erupt like a rolling snowball. In fact, there were even chaotic battles where both sides were suddenly ambushed. An example was Qin Wentian's battle earlier. If he wasn't able to insta-kill his opponent, the two devil cultivators who saw him would definitely be able to reap the benefits. In a certain location, Azure Flame Tuo was currently fighting against an expert. As a peak stage Devil Foundation expert of the Azure Flame clan, Azure Flame Tuo's strength naturally wasn't weak. Although he wasn't as outstanding as the experts on the Devil rankings, he still had tyrannical combat prowess. Devil might gushed forth from him as his entire body was bathed in devil flames. He was like a devil from the depths of hell, causing the entire space to be incomparably hot. His powerful attacks frenziedly clashed against his opponent. Every time he blasted out an Azure Flame palm, it would leave behind a devil fire seed of destruction in his opponent's body. Also, the palm imprint would absorb the energy in the surroundings, growing increasingly tyrannical. Tour is not bad. In the Devil King seats, the clan leader of the Azure Flame clan silently nodded his head as he observed Azure Flame Tuo's performance. Blackstone, it's truly a great fortune for your daughter to be able to marry into my Azure Flame clan. The Azure Flame clan leader spoke to the Blackstone Devil King, who was not far away. No matter what, both parties were in-laws. He naturally knew of the Blackstone Devil King. Clan leader, you might not know, but the Blackstone Devil King has always been unhappy. Right now, he brought his third daughter over to stay in our clan. This third daughter of his is even more beautiful than her elder sister, but her temper isn't small at all. She doesn't even respect Tour, this brother-in-law, at all, and seems to like a devil general under the Blackstone Devil King. An expert at the side spoke. This caused the clan leader to start. He then spoke, Blackstone Devil King, why don't you let your third daughter marry Tour as well? You have also seen how outstanding Tour is. He naturally wouldn't bring shame to your daughters. Azure Flame clan leader, why must you humiliate me like this? The voice of the Blackstone Devil King turned cold as anger could be seen on his face. Humiliate? The Azure Flame clan leader shook his head. Shouldn't this be the fortune of your daughters? As he spoke, he turned his gaze over and continued to watch Azure Flame Tuo's battle. At this moment, Azure Flame Tuo's violent attacks had already heavily injured his opponent. However, his brows twitched as he spoke. Since that person is about to arrive, I wonder how strong he is. If he is strong, it would be hard for Tour to deal with him. The eyes of the Blackstone Devil King gleamed with sharpness. Qin Wentian had arrived. Qin Wentian had left the Azure Flame clan a long time ago. Hence, the Devil Kings of the Azure Flame clan didn't know of him. They only heard that the Blackstone Devil King brought a devil general with him, and that his daughter was in love with that devil general. On the battlefield, Azure Flame Tuo finally heavily injured his opponent and fled in a sorry state. But at this moment he also saw Qin Wentian appearing. His expression instantly turned cold. Before entering the Devil Emperor's grand banquet, He had always looked down on Qin Wentian. But after that, Yi Zimo appeared beside Qin Wentian and Qin Wentian walked to the core position, causing him to feel an intense sense of humiliation in his heart. Right now, when he stood before Qin Wentian, he actually wanted to test how strong Qin Wentian was exactly. Scram. Qin Wentian brandished the demon sword as he coldly spoke, continuing forward. Keep your devil weapon and fight with me. Azure Flame Tua unleashed his law energy to the extreme, causing the entire space around him to be incomparably hot. Qin Wentian glanced at Azure Flame Tua before keeping his demon sword. Might as well. In that case, he should be able to give that little lass the third princess some face. A violent aura gushed forth as law energy enveloped his entire body. Qin Wentian moved like a bolt of lightning towards Azure Flame Tua. Azure Flame Tua roared. A palm imprint that was like the abyss of hell slammed down towards Qin Wentian, akin to a demon king of hell opening its bloody maw. Qin Wentian speed soared to the extreme. He didn't stop. He lifted his palm and blasted out towards the incoming palm imprint. With a thunderous boom, a hole appeared in the palm imprint as Qin Wentian directly rushed out from it. Azure Flame Tuo's countenance drastically changed. With a roar of rage, he transformed into a giant made of azure flames, unleashing a palm strike that could topple mountains and overturn seas, frenziedly blasting out. Qin Wentian's body erupted with an extremely bright light. His perfect immortal foundation that was infused with devilish energy erupted forth. His terrifying body of laws gushed forth, akin to an apocalyptic halberd slashing out, transforming into an incomparably terrifying vortex that shattered the Azure Flame palms as it directly shot towards Azure Flame Tua. Azure Flame Tua lifted his hands and blasted out explosively. The ancient halberd slammed into his palms and a miserable scream rang out. A destructive wound directly appeared on his body as he was flung through the air, slamming heavily onto the ground. So you are so weak. Qin Wentian frowned. He shook his head and left, not killing him. Chapter 1266. If Qin Wentian wanted to kill Azure Flame Tua, Azure Flame Tua would die for sure. However, Azure Flame Tua was the brother-in-law of the third princess after all. Also, both the third princess and the Blackstone Devil King lived in the Azure Flame clan. This bloodline connection couldn't be severed. If he killed Azure Flame Tua, it would only cause the Blackstone Devil King and the third princess to be in danger. Although he didn't kill Azure Flame Tua, it was clear that Azure Flame Tuo's battle had already ended. Given how heavily injured he was, if he didn't leave the battlefield now, only death would be waiting for him. Azure Flame Tua fed himself a medicinal pill and climbed up. He flew towards the light screen in the air, leaving the battlefield with hatred and reluctance. Outside, the people from the Azure Flame clan all had ashen expressions. That fellow coldly spoke. Tua's luck is a little bad. He actually encountered that fellow. He. The Blackstone Devil King laughed mockingly. Blackstone Devil King, what do you mean by this? A Devil King from the Azure Flame clan coldly spoke. Before this, didn't you guys notice him greeting me? He is none other than the Devil General under me. The Blackstone Devil King coldly laughed. After that, the expressions of the people from the Azure Flame clan changed, becoming extremely unsightly to behold. Earlier, they were still mocking the third princess for falling in love with the Devil General and suggested for her to marry Azure Flame Tua, saying that it would be an honor for Yen Yuru. But in the blink of an eye, their pride, Azure Flame Tua, was mercilessly defeated by the Devil General of the Blackstone Devil King. Snorting coldly, the people from the Azure Flame clan didn't say anything. The truth was before their eyes, they had no way to refute it. On the other side, Yen Yusin's countenance was as pale as paper, extremely unsightly to behold. Her right now had an indescribable feeling in her heart. They didn't even bother to look at the young man in the eye. Most probably, he also didn't think highly of her and her husband. Hence he very naturally chose to leave. As for the battle on the battlefield, there was no doubt that they were the ones seeking humiliation for themselves. If it wasn't for the mocking earlier, how would there be the humiliation and anger they felt now? After Azure Flame Tua returned, he directly walked back to his seat. His body was trembling as those words resounded in his ears. So it turns out that you are so weak. Azure Flame Tua was so weak, yet he still thought so highly of himself. The impact of this battle to the people of the Azure Flame clan was extremely great. Maybe the defeat of a genius on the battlefield would affect the hearts of many. But to the victors, they wouldn't think too much about it. The battles would continue and more people would be eliminated. This was especially so to Qin Wentian. Azure Flame Tua had never been his target. It was just a coincidence that he encountered him. If they hadn't met, he might have even forgotten the existence of this person. This forest seemed to be extremely vast. Qin Wentian continued moving forward, and occasionally he would see battles erupting. When those people saw him, they would instantly be filled with wariness, wanting to prevent him from launching a sneak attack. However, Qin Wentian would only cast a glance at them before leaving. He had no mood to interfere with the battles of others. He only had a single goal, and that was to stay until the end. He was very clear that in the earlier stages of the battle, it was destined that batches of cannon fodder would be eliminated. There were only a mere 10 people selected by the Devil Emperor. For the others, other than hoping to be selected by the Devil Emperor, they still had hopes of being valued by the Devil sections. But for him, Qin Wentian, it was different. In truth, if he didn't become one of the 3 chosen by the Devil Emperor, it could already be considered his failure. In the battlefield, the devils fought chaotically. Numerous battles erupted, causing the spectators to be nervous and excited. As for the Devil Kings, they were admiring the characters they selected. However, there was no lack of clever people on the battlefield. They used all kinds of methods to avoid direct confrontation. In the eyes of outsiders, all kinds of methods were exposed. Some people cultivated the art of concealment and took advantage of the weakness of the demonic thoughts to hide in the mountain rocks or bury themselves in the ground. They endured and did not make a move. There were also some who were proficient in listening to the wind and could evade before encountering other devil cultivators. Although such actions were somewhat despicable, it was also an extremely intelligent choice. There were countless experts on the battlefield. Unless you truly stood at the peak, there would always be existences more terrifying than you. If that was the case, you would be eliminated prematurely, not even having the chance to be noticed. True experts have no fear of war. If gods block them, they will kill gods. If devils block them, they will kill devils. A tyrannical devil king spoke. There were some existences who were like this. As the battles continued, these people became more and more conspicuous. For example, Huang Shatian, Xia Yuan, Ba Xiao, and the others. Many people on the Fallen Devil Island were acquainted with Xia Yuan, Ba Xiao. But Huang Shatian caused everyone to sigh in admiration. Before this, the seat he was seated at was the most central area, and the combat prowess he displayed now was truly heaven-shaking. It was like in this vast battlefield, he had never met a true opponent before. A terrifying light screen appeared, revealing half of a devil's sword, devil's saber, and long spear. It was as though half of them were in the void while the other half were outside. With a single thought, the other half of the void would immediately shoot out. At the same time, spatial energy would envelop his opponents, making him invincible. This man, who is he exactly? This thought appeared in the minds of many. Before this, the participants from the core region were all the focus of attention. Undoubtedly, Huang Shatian was the most conspicuous existence among them. In comparison, Qin Wentian was much dimmer. Although he also defeated several opponents, he lacked the tyrannical aura he exuded. Most of the time, he chose to avoid battles. Gradually, the number of people paying attention to him grew fewer and fewer. Sir Qin, what sort of character are you exactly? Xian Yu was one of the few people who had been paying attention to Qin Wentian. Facing the threat of Ba Xiao, he didn't hesitate and walked out of the Celestial Devil Lodge, domineering and tyrannical. He clearly had great strength, yet he chose to keep a low profile, preferring to be criticized by others, making it hard for others to see through him. He should know that his performance on the battlefield would be seen by the people of the outside world. They are about to encounter each other. At this moment, Xian Yu's eyes flashed as she stared in another direction, in the direction of Ba Xiao. To her surprise, she discovered that Ba Xiao was actually about to encounter Qin Wentian's subordinate, Qida. In addition, they seemed to have already seen each other's existence. Ba Xiao stepped out and moved in that direction, appearing before Qida. Sir Qin is also in that direction. Xian Yu's beautiful eyes flashed. As to why she noticed that Ba Xiao and Qida were about to encounter each other, It was because they were in the direction where Qin Wentian was moving. Although there were still many people in the middle, if Qin Wentian moved in a straight line, he would definitely encounter them. A tyrannical aura gushed forth from Ba Xiao as devil might gushed forth. He stared at Qida and spoke, "Before I kill your master, I will take your dog life first." As he finished speaking, he stepped out, and a Haotian demonic hammer appeared in the air. A terrifying hammer smashed down from the sky, and terrifying demonic lightning covered the sky. At the same time, the demonic hammer contained extremely heavy gravity, wanting to crush the space around it. Ba Xiao was one of the top 3 rankers on the devil rankings. When his strength erupted forth, it was extremely terrifying. At this instant, Qida felt as though he was facing a calamity of death. Boom! Crackling sounds rang out from Qida's body. His entire body seemed to grow larger as numerous runes radiated from his bones and meridians. In an instant, his entire body shone with a supreme battle light. The people of the Battle Saint tribe all possessed the Battle Saint blood and the Battle Saint bone. Even though they were stripped of their most terrifying inheritances, they still possessed terrifying talent. Their battle intent soared up into the clouds as a divine battle ape appeared, bearing the weight of the sky on its back. Qida lifted his arm as the divine ape did the same, smashing towards the vast sky devil hammer in the air. The simplest attack was also the most violent attack. How could the people of the Battle Saint tribe avoid a battle? A heaven-shaking collision rang out in the air as terrifying explosions rang out, akin to muffled thunder. A moment later, many devil cultivators from afar inclined their heads and stared in the direction of their battle. After that, their bodies flickered as they sped towards the direction of their battle. The battle between Ba Xiao and Qida erupted. The clear sky demonic hammer was domineering and tyrannical, while the Battle Saint technique was invincible. Ba Xiao was victorious because he had peaked at the threshold of the Devil King realm for a longer period of time, and his cultivation realm was deeper. Who is this man? Ba Xiao is one of the top 3 rankers on the devil rankings. Why can't he defeat an ordinary character? The eyes of everyone flashed. Many people from the fallen Devil Island noticed the battle between Ba Xiao and Qida. The two of them exchanged attacks with attacks. The more they fought, the more violent they became. Such an intense battle caused a huge commotion, attracting the attention of people from far away. There were already many devil cultivators who appeared in that area, quietly spectating the battle. There were also some weaker devil cultivators who silently retreated. Interesting. At this moment, an expert was leaning against a tree, staring at the battle before him. In his hands, there was an ordinary-looking saber that seemed to be used for chopping firewood. It's Old Chai. Since he appeared, Ba Xiao and his opponent are in danger. Someone thought in his heart. Old Chai was an extremely dangerous person. If he were to sit there and reap the benefits, even if Ba Xiao and Yi Shiwen were very powerful, they would still be in danger. What are you guys looking at here for? Don't disturb the battles of others. Old Chai laughed as he walked forward, actually walking towards the center of the battlefield as he spoke to the people in the surroundings. What are you doing here? Someone asked in doubt. Old Chai smiled at him and walked a few steps towards him. I'm naturally here to admire this battle. Such a powerful battle, I don't want to be disturbed by you guys. Is that so? That person's aura gushed forth, staring warily at Old Chai who was walking over. What else? Old Chai laughed as he placed his saber behind his back. But at this very moment, an afterimage appeared. That person's aura abruptly erupted forth as he retreated. Yet at this very moment Old Chai's hatchet cleaved downwards. As the saber descended, a vertical scar appeared in the air. After that, the crowd only saw a line of blood appearing. That person was still retreating, but his body was actually split apart from the center by a single slash of that saber. What a terrifying saber art. Many people felt their hearts trembling. Everyone be careful. Several devil cultivators walked together, as though they wanted to join forces in order to avoid being hunted down by Old Chai. However, at this moment, Old Chai merely laughed. He inclined his head and stared at the two people fighting in the air. His eyes were filled with a hint of killing intent. With a single slash of his saber, he might have a chance to finish off these two powerful opponents. Old man, you are already so old, yet your attacks are so ruthless. A voice rang out. Old Chai inclined his head as a smile appeared on his face. This person was actually that young man who was seated in the same region as him.